It's on.
Hallelujah.
Never mind.
Hallelujah. 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 And I see the audio is going. We're bouncing up and down like a wiggly piece of giggly. Welcome, 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 welcome back to the Outhouse.
Didn't think that was going to happen. We was having some serious technical difficulties, and if
because
by
of the
chance it does go out, did I do that already?
No, but I figured it was coming.
Oh shit! All right, so I got one coming. So yeah, so if we go out again, if it's under the 2-hour mark, just give us a minute and we'll pop back in. I don't know what's going on. It's Spectrum. It's not me. So to hell with them.
Well, you know, and
motherfuckers. There,
I
was owed that one. So
technical
like my hat, I figured I'd wear a hat since we're with the Mad Hatter there.
Magic's in the hat.
How many hats do you have?
I've got at least 6.
Get in the microphone.
I'm
talking to them guys.
Right, I have at least 6. So
and we're gonna be getting into some good stuff today.
So did it shut off? The circle button in the middle is the record.
So we've added another camera.
Stupid camera.
And we have and
our crew's not here.
Yeah,
and everything
we have
else.
one man, Larry. Larry is doing it tonight. He not only does he play the brothers, but he's also the voice of God. So you'll hear him from time to time pull us back on the rails when we go off the rails.
Yes.
I could have swore I heard God say, "Hey, come here."
All right. Hopefully that won't shut back off again, but I said hopefully that won't shut back off again.
Well, we're going to get awful good at
thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
Yeah, welcome back.
Signal strength is excellent at the moment.
Well, that was a little wild,
like
you know.
I said.
If anything could go wrong, it seems like it's been going wrong this week.
Man,
you know?
Talk about giving me a headache.
Well, you know, and it's been ongoing. But
what's up, everybody?
Back in the outhouse. Talking shit
about shit.
We don't have an outhouse on the screen.
Oh, there's our. Yeah, we do.
Do you?
Yeah, actually, I see it.
Oh, I see it on. Okay.
Yeah. And that was
now we got the warning sign. It's no longer excellent strength.
Yeah, that's what threw it all off the rails to begin with.
I know, stupid thing. Like I said, if we go off for whatever reason, we'll pop back in. No worries.
We really
you know what?
We really
Jimmy was supposed to come over tonight to put the Facebook in there, so when we clicked on it, would go into Facebook.
And he was supposed to bring his keyboard and play.
If I didn't know he wasn't going to come like that, I would have called Johnny over and had him do it. Damn it! Next time.
And Johnny will be here Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday when we have the Motown band guys, then I should be able to stream on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So
now,
hopefully,
Starlight.
Yeah, out of Akron.
Because I know we watched their YouTube stuff.
And then Ellis and Company Sunday, which they're going to go on a little earlier. They're going to go on about 4:30.
Yeah,
we had to change up. Little funky little thing. What's up, guys? Paul and Patrick Mozzochi from Classic Drive.
Yeah.
What's going on, all?
Same old, man.
I can't believe we got them both in here because I thought it was just going to be Paul, you know, and then, you know.
Well, thank God.
It seemed like a fun ride when we had Larry in here to kind of have your back whenever we started grilling, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have the same thing for...
I'm only here because he needed a ride.
Oh, sounds about right.
So
yeah, please give me a ride.
Please.
Well, we were trying to do the math earlier as far as like when we were getting started. I just found out you're 6 years older than me. So like, what year did you guys start jamming together? Because you guys have always jammed together as long as I've ever known.
When was the first time?
Let me see.
Like, were you guys kids, like teenagers, effing around together?
Teenagers.
You know?
It's like about 90, I think. We moved back to Ohio.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I think it was maybe 90, 91 from Georgia.
Yeah, we
grew up.
Our parents moved us to Georgia when I was 16. We were there till I was 21.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yep.
And then did they move to that house down in Minerva?
No, we moved to East Canton. My dad's parents are from East Canton. So That's where we
Stupid Mike.
That's where we first started jamming.
Yeah.
With Danny Dalton,
Mm-hmm.
me, Mike. Mike was like.
I remember.
Mike
I
was.
jammed with
Mike
you guys
was
for a little
like.
bit.
Yeah, you did.
He was
On
probably
drums.
about 13 years old when he started playing drums.
On
With
the
us.
drums I was, and they said, "Mother, you play too much. Get out of here.
He
You
was
overplay
always
everything."
amazing
I didn't
to
even
me.
say it.
I did.
Oh.
I was about to, but you know what? You're right. No, I can't take it
And then
back.
I like how nobody
can't
brings
take it
quarters.
back.
They're all my freaking quarters.
I left him in the vehicle, so I'll
I don't have a
show you
potty
what-
mouth, so
which is good.
Well-
which is
Right.
good, you know.
That's my problem.
my
I
wife
love
would say
saying the F
different,
word.
but
The one thing I've heard, you know. is
I
like,
love saying the
well,
F word. That's why I had to do this because it keeps me.
there's a whole
It
stack
keeps
of
me
quarters
broke
there.
with the rest of the economy. Mm.
Now, when I saw you guys, you were in the Motley Crue thing. So was it always like 80s metal that you guys were doing?
Well, that's what we grew up on. So pretty much, yeah. I started bands before Paul. Paul didn't always sing for, you know, it. I was in a it was always the same band. It just kept getting reincarnated in something different. But it was Razor's Edge was the band, and it
That's
just
weird.
it just kept
The
changing.
green screen doesn't work on that camera.
And
Isn't that weird?
yeah, Paul
What-
came around in '90.
Yeah, it's probably about right. 1990.
Yep.
What made you want to start singing?
Boredom.
Boredom.
I talked him into it. I needed a
Had
singer.
a lot of time in my hands.
I mean, not a lot of guys can do that, and you do it awesome. That's
Oh,
what's
wow.
so cool.
Yeah, but
you
it's
know?
been years later, you know.
Well, right.
Shit.
It is.
That's
and
all right,
we
but
are.
you're like a fine wine, bro. Like you sound
Right.
better now than you ever did.
I'm gonna tell you
in
what.
my opinion. I mean,
I
not
thought I was-
when you're sick, obviously, and shit like
But I
that.
thought I was better back then, but you know.
I don't think so.
You were hitting the highs better back then, the same way I was
Right.
hitting the lows better back then, you know. And our voices change as we get older and mature, you know. And I don't know, man. I heard you the other night down at the practice space,
And you're starting to be able
I
to
loved
con-
it, man. I mean,
Yeah, I got more control,
Yeah, you're
but
controlling it
back
a
then
lot
it was
better.
like Skid Row and
Right.
all this other stuff,
Right.
the super high
But you could-
vocals,
I don't
and it was
know,
like
you
that
know.
was what I was expected to do, and I
Right.
did it.
You did too, and you could kill it.
Nailed it.
And you had the look, because that's when I met you.
Back
You were
then.
running around in those tidy, like red leather pants type
See,
shit.
it's weird what children do to you.
Yeah, right?
You gain all that weight after you have some kids and
Yeah, I don't know
whatnot.
about kids, but years maybe.
I don't know. I still have my girlish figures.
There you go.
It's the
Rub it
high. No, it's that extremely high stress diet that
Right.
keeps me.
That's what's doing it to me right now.
Me and Paul like that high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah,
That's some good
obviously
shit right
you've got
there.
it a little bit easier. So
Yeah.
I thought it was around 98 whenever I first came in down there with Mikey, because we were trying to get Mikey in the band. Because Mikey was amazing. He is amazing. I don't know if he still plays or not, but like, I remember once we started playing out, and like we played up at Peabody's the one time, and it was always really after every show, someone would ultimately come up to me and be like, "Where'd you find that drummer at, man?"
yeah,
They always want to know where I found that drummer at, because Mikey could run. He'd get on that double bass and and he knew how to use it. That was the other thing, and he could control the pit with it. I mean, we would get some really wild pits sometimes, and it was always not just because the guitar riffs were shredding super killer or anything. It was Mikey running on them double basses, man.
yeah. Well, we're talking about my brother Mike. So yeah, he doesn't play drums anymore. I wish he would. He
Yeah,
was really
he's a
good.
beast.
Your whole family's
was really
musical,
good.
so how far does that go back for you guys?
Well, actually, my grandpa on my mom's side, he was like the singing cowboy. He played guitar and wrote his own stuff,
Right on.
all hillbilly stuff, and he was like the only real musician in our family for the longest time. And then I believe it was me. I picked up guitar, and it was like a chain reaction.
Right.
So everybody in the family started.
Well, Rocky played
playing.
bass in our band even at one
Yeah,
point.
he was
'cause we
a
needed
guitar
He
player
was like
too.
15 or 14
That's
or
our
something.
other brother, Rocky. We're talking about.
I mean, You guys all had that ability.
I see Gary up in the chat, but I can't see what it says.
Which
Well,
Gary?
Gary used to say
Wigington.
it's talking some shit about some shit and everything sounding strong and good
Cool.
and all that.
I'm wondering if that's the same
I'm
Gary
blind.
that we all partied out in Moultrie with. Remember we went over to the house in Moultrie when we were all
No,
doing that
okay.
acid and partying,
No,
and
that
that
wasn't
Gary
it.
guy was there. There was a guy named Gary, and he had poker straight blonde hair and glasses. And I just remember there
I
was
think,
that.
isn't that Patty's Gary Johns?
That's
Oh,
it.
yeah.
That's it. He was with a lady named Patty.
Yeah, my cousin.
Okay. I partied with that.
No,
guy
this
a
Gary.
lot.
Back in the day, Gary, we used to go where we used to practice out in that trailer where I said a couple episodes
Right,
back
right.
where we did that acid at.
Right?
We practiced twice a week, and Gary buy 2 beer balls twice a week, dude. We go out there and get fucked up.
I remember him seeing the death poster that Mikey had in the house in Moultrie that was up against the wall right
Fuck,
there.
Gary bought
and
beer
it looked
balls
like
all
fingers
summer.
going like this with like people. And I remember we were all just starting to kind of trip out. And he was looking at it, and out of the clear blue sky goes, "Man, I can't look at it. It looks like people getting cut up."
Mhm.
And he was tripping out bad, man. It was funny.
That's when Chuck and Phil Hoover and a couple other cats all had motorcycles and shit, and we was all riding out there on bikes. Some guys getting fucked up and riding back on them bikes. I don't know.
And it's funny. when
I
we
think
start-
Chuck rides better when he's drunk than when he's sober. I think
In the winter.
in the winter.
We start talking about these old stories, and it's the same
Chuck,
names. that
talking
pop
about
up.
Chuck
We were-
Torsino?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind
he,
of figured.
maniac. Slayer.
Now, how did you get tied in with the Mozzachis? Because when I met you, you were
My sister married their brother Mike,
yeah.
the dude that plays the drums.
So now our nephews are their nephews.
Yeah.
We're all
Our
connected
nephews
with
are their
nephews.
nephews.
Yeah,
We
right.
are connected.
Mikey and Tony.
We's fam.
We is.
Yup.
Lots of music too, all the way around.
Yeah, it's awesome. So yeah, when these guys get their drummer tuned in, they're gonna come down and do a stream on the Chicken Coop Live.
Yeah, and we're gonna get the sound all really great that night too for everybody, because it cut out so many different times and went sideways and this way and that way.
Well, it was our first show. We had
But,
no idea
come
what
on,
was
man.
going on.
This guy saved the show, man. Like
Uh-huh.
I remember, like it was starting to come down, you know, and I'm thinking, all right, we're gonna start winding her down now, and then Paul comes up on stage and brings it back up like a phoenix rising from the ashes,
Sure
man.
did. He kept it moving.
I love that rap he did. Or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, that
was,
free flow.
That was
Something
Something
awesome,
about yeah. You
dude.
said just sing something. I'm
It was
like, all right.
awesome.
Dude,
that was great, dude.
It was like
That
Joe
great.
Cocker, dude. It was like Joe Cocker, man. It was
I
so
couldn't-
pure and so awesome, dude. It was the best part of the night.
It really,
It really
was.
was. It was the
Yeah.
highlight of that 4-hour video was when you got up and threw your hands up at the end. It was like Ozzy doing it, dude. It was
It
awesome.
was great.
Man. It was. It was really
I don't
awesome.
know. I didn't see that.
Yeah, man. And I think everybody did a good job that night for what
For
it
what
was.
it was,
you
man.
know?
I mean, we got handed a shit show and made something out of it. You know what I mean? Not, it wasn't our fault, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
It
We
was
still
cool,
come
though.
out with something pretty cool.
Yeah, the drummers
I mean,
didn't.
it was a
didn't
lot
know
of
the
fun.
song, so.
Right.
Right.
It was fun.
You know.
So there were what 3-4 drummers that came through and sat in with everybody, and you got
And the
what you
main
got,
drummers
you know,
didn't.
and it was
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, none of them really knew what to do.
And like I
So-
still want to see Lid's boy play with my kid.
Yep.
There's just something about that, the two of them together.
They'll
I
be
wanna
back.
See. I do. So getting back to these two fellas,
So you guys grew up in Minerva, right?
Minerva, yes.
So you know
Minerva.
about the Minerva monster?
I have a story about a Minerva
Oh,
monster.
I
shit.
told
What's her
him.
name?
right.
Okay,
What was her
so
weight?
all right, here's how the story goes. I lived in Minerva in town, and that's the house I had was a house on a corner, and I needed to put up a fence. There was already a fence there, but it was like all
Chain link or-
dilapidated. It needed repaired, and so I just kind of needed to redo the whole thing.
Like a stockade fence
So
or chain link?
It was the one that was like a stockade, and I needed to put a privacy fence
whatever the fuck.
because of my kids and my son. Anyways, so anyhow, for a couple of days, I was tearing the posts out of the old fence to do new, and these things were like buried down like 5-6 feet into the ground, concreted in, but they had to go. So
there's some
I
digging
was
there, boy.
digging beside them
Digging so
and-
fun.
and prying on them,
It's my
pulling on them.
favorite.
I had my pickup truck out there trying to pull them out, and I had like 4 or 5 of them to do, and I'm out there beating on these things with sledgehammers, and I got spud
So I called
bars,
Bob Chandler
and I'm
and said, "Hey,
prying
can you
and
bring
I'm
that
prying on them.
Big-
And you guys
And
are like
so-
bricklayers, so this has got to be something bad.
Oh, it was, yeah. I wasn't
That shit ain't
wasn't
no
letting
fun.
these things win. So,
Right,
but
right.
I wasn't stopping. So I got like 3 of them out, and I'm still, still trying to get them out. I'm all sweaty and stuff. And meanwhile, the Minerva monster is sitting on his porch across the street from my house, and he was watching me drinking beer all day, and
Wishing he had
finally, he just gets up and walks across the street, and he goes over to one of the posts, and he bent down and he grabbed a hold of it and just stood up and pulled it right out of the
Bear
ground.
hugging,
The Minerva monster's name was Jim Lab.
Jesus.
Jim Lab.
Jim Lab, this great big brute of a guy.
Wow,
And
all
so
that,
he
you
just
pulled it
walked
out.
across the street, and I've been beating on this post for like hours trying to get it out. And he comes over and just grabbed it
He's
and
one of
picked it right up.
corn-fed hillbilly dudes, man.
We started talking about
I
we were
forgot
here
about
about
that guy.
That's my only
Right.
Minerva monster story. So
we were going to get into the whole Bigfoot.
Well,
thing.
yeah,
So,
'cause
you guys build stuff. That's what you do.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're in an area where there's not a whole lot of other shit around. Maybe you guys ever show up and see anything that just like made you want to not get out of the truck?
well, I do that every time I go to the east side of Cleveland.
I was curious to
you know.
say, yeah, you know that bad side of town.
There's no-
right. But like nothing ever like that scared you.
I actually no.
Never?
No, I can't say that I have actually. And
Well, you know they got that Minerva Monster Day down there now, right?
yeah.
That's due to the fact that Larry's kid that does the Minerva Small Town Monsters, they got documentary films. He does the soundtracks for them, and that was their first one, and that's why now Minerva has that day because of that documentary.
Nice.
Ah.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So yeah, they had that little thing going on. If you guys want to know about the Minerva Monster,
Oh,
it's on
yeah.
Tubi.
I've heard stories,
I'm
but
sure you
I've
too.
never
Me too.
actually seen anything that would lead me to believe that there's a Minerva monster, other than Jim Lab, if he's still out there. He was definitely a monster.
Now Larry's got a good story about down in Marietta, but since he's over there running his shit, we'll have to save that one for another day.
I started to tell that one that Danny told you.
Yeah,
Listen,
what
it
was
freaky,
that?
man, He
So
just got
finish that one
separated
out.
from his dad. They were hunting somewhere remote down around Lancaster. And that, at least that's what I seem to remember. He was in a trailer, though, he said. And he just looked out and was eye to eye with this thing. And he was like up top. It was one of those kind that are like on the truck, as what he described. So that's pretty tall. And to see it eye to eye, it freaked him straight out. If that is how I'm remembering it correctly, because I always told the ghost stories and stuff, and I could get in depth sometimes, and I'd scare everybody, including myself, if we were out deep enough. But I wouldn't do that with Dan, because he'd freak out. And that let me know it was most likely a real thing. This really scarred the dude. And when we were kids, I remember it took him a minute before he told me like how he actually had like a real encounter, and his mom backed it up too, from what I remember.
I mean, you got to think though. That's what most people don't realize. They're like, "Oh, well, you seen a Bigfoot? Why didn't you take a picture?" Okay, listen. If any of you out there has ever been deer hunting, then when you go out there and you're deer hunting and the deer comes up and before you get ready to shoot, your heart's beating like out of your
Right,
chest.
right.
You're
Fight or flight.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
and you shoot the deer and whatever. Now imagine that's just a deer that's 2.5, 300 pounds.
Right.
Imagine something 600 pounds, 500 pounds, 8, 9 feet tall, and as wide as 2 linebackers.
Yeah, right.
And, it's that big, plus everybody tells you it's not real. So therefore, you're looking at something that they say is not real, and it's so damn big. Not to mention, usually it's a split-second thing, so that's why there's never no clear shots usually, because the person is shitting their pants.
I'm really excited right now.
While they're
I've never
out
seen
there.
this side of you.
It's like,
that's kind of a
yeah,
turn
that's
on.
my thing, man. Because I was, ever since I was a kid and seen that Patty footage, I was like, man, that shit is real. There's no way back then, back then the Planet of the Apes was the best of what they had.
Yeah, you're right.
And this thing was way beyond that. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way. And then years go by and they enhance it, and guess what? It's got tits.
Well, I've often wondered.
I mean,
too,
you ain't gonna have a costume that's got breasts on it. You can see the muscles
but here's
moving
the
when this
thing.
thing's
Here's
walking,
my,
man.
Here's my only argument on that, though. Stanley Kubrick, they say he shot the moon landing. And he had all that technology and everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's Hollywood, though. You're talking about two dudes out in the woods with an 8mm camera, bro.
But in that instance, but I'm saying. In
Oh,
other
yeah,
instances,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Just for the sake of argument, the big argument, the overall argument. Because there's a lot of people that are like, no way, there's no such thing.
Well,
yeah, that's the boogeyman. That's just the boogeyman.
You can go
Where's the
on.
bones at?
If
Where's
you
his
really
bones?
want to know what's up and you don't think they're real, go to YouTube and go to Thinker Thunker.
That was compelling stuff.
And it's called DNA proportionate measurements.
Yeah.
And he measures the face, the eyes, from the center of the eye to the center of the nose. And then he measures from down to the top of the nose and to the mouth. And you can do a human the same way. And when you line them up, they're not the same.
And the arms.
And he does the arms
Right.
because, we're disproportional. And he shows you on the thing how, even if you're a dude in a costume, your arm bends where it bends. Your legs bend where they bend. You can't, even if you put an extension on your arms to make your arms bend, your proportion still, it bends right here.
Right.
So there's no way to fake that. And he's come up with this measurement that's like, okay, even though I've seen 1,000 footage of the shit and believed it anyway, and I thought I've had encounters, but I wasn't sure in the woods myself. But after seeing that dude, now I'm 100% sure there's a forest giant running around in these woods.
Now,
There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
So you had an encounter.
I thought when I was hunting as a kid, we used to hunt down in the Ohio Power property down by Coshocton, which Coshocton is one of the hot spots in Ohio. And when we'd be down there, we would be way out in the middle of freaking nowhere, dude. Like remote. And you'd hear a dog barking once in a while. It's like, I wouldn't think nothing of it. But now that I'm older and I've watched all these documentaries, these things mimic all kinds of animals: birds, dogs, coyotes, foxes, wolves. They use wolves and coyotes to hunt and shit. So, and we'd be out in there, and I thought I would hear a dog barking. And it would just, when I was down there, I thought that was weird. I was like, wow, what would a dog be doing way out in the middle? If you got a pack of them, that's one thing. But unless somebody brought a damn dog out there and dropped it off and lost it or something, I don't know. But yeah, that's that. I could have been, and then I've been in the woods, deer hunting, and when the dusk goes down or you come in at dawn, you get weird feelings like somebody's watching you, and you hear and shit, and you're like, but how the hell are you gonna know it's dark? You know what I mean? You can barely see to get to your tree stand or wherever it is you're going anyway.
Oh man, that's why.
And they say that they're, they claim they might be interdimensional and all that shit, which would be why nobody ever kills one or shoots one, because
microwaves and you can't see them.
Right.
So why can't they?
And I hear they cloak too, because that's why they can stand right by a tree 3 foot from you and you won't even know they're there unless you smell them. And then I watched a documentary, one dude claiming that he thinks that the smell is the females during that time of the month. I don't know if that's true or what.
Maybe.
I'm just saying that's something this dude said. I don't know about that. But I do know there's something running around in there, because there's too much evidence now. There's too much footage. There's too many dudes. There's footprints these guys got. But that's another thing. I watched one a clip where these footprints start at the side of these people's house, and it goes out to the trampoline, and then the footprints disappear. Or they don't leave the trampoline. They don't move.
Now, when they disappeared, was Motley Crue playing?
Could have been. Very well could have been.
Because these guys are here about Motley Crue.
I think it was Don't Fear the Reaper.
That's what I want to
actually.
ask about. So when did you start doing the Vince Neil thing, Paulie?
Bigfoot.
Mike was
probably.
playing bass,
Yeah.
and we had a drummer. His name was Doug.
Chuck. His name was Chuck.
Was it
Chuck. Two
yeah,
Chucks.
because it was two Chucks.
2 Chucks.
Yep.
There's a story.
We were
He was
playing-
from.
We were playing at Waco School. We had a practice spot there.
They stole my drummer, you guys.
Sorry about that.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
That me and Mikey had nothing but troubles trying to get a drummer in this band. We finally find one. And these fucks steal him. That's all right. though.
Well, yeah.
I'm over it now. But
Well, he
I
wasn't-
Mike
was
was
mad.
playing drums for us, and we were just getting it going. And then he said, "No, I'm doing this other thing. I can't do it no more." So we had to find a new drummer.
That's what happened to us.
But Mike decided to play bass
was
for us.
singing.
Yeah, he was
Playing
playing
bass.
bass.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
then that drummer ended up quitting because
He
his
went
wife
home.
cheated on him.
He went
And he
home.
was from out of state, so that was done.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
that was
drama
weird
of the
because
band,
He
right?
he drove with everything that he could fit in his car
Mm-hmm.
back to Arizona where he lived or where he was from, and he left his drum set with me.
Left in my basement for
Yeah,
10 years.
well, he left it with me, and he said, "When I get to
back.
Arizona, I'll call
All the
you,
way to
and we'll
Arizona.
set up some UPS or something and ship this drum set to me." Okay. And he never called me. Never called me. And the drum set sat in his basement for like 10 years waiting for that phone call that never came. He never tried to. And it was a really nice drum
Abandoned
set, but
little drum set.
sitting in a damp basement for 10 years, it got ruined. So
Warped
we
and
ended up
alone.
salvaging a
Sad
little
in
bit
the
of it,
darkness.
and then most of it just went in the
Now
garbage.
that's a little story. His name Two Chucks. He was
Two
from
Chucks.
Arizona, so he got in this band with these guys, and a few of them was Indians, and the one dude had the kid there, and the other dude in the band, the keyboard player or somebody, was named Chuck. So when the kid came, he was like, "Hey, my name's Chuck." And then the other dude, our drummer dude, "Hey, my name's Chuck," and he was like, "Oh, Two Chucks." So he just kind of adopted the name.
Two
So we
Chucks.
called him Two
good.
Chucks.
That's what it was. Two
pretty
Chucks.
good.
Two Chucks. That's a pretty good one. He was a good drummer.
He was a
man.
good
Damn
drummer.
drummer.
But we quit playing for like 10 years after that.
Yeah, I hung it up for quite a long time. I actually wasn't even planning on playing again. And then I started going to this church, and then the church had a band.
A lot of them were doing that.
And well, one of my friends, I made friends there at the church. She said, "Hey, yeah, that band, they're looking for people to do tech stuff, to help hook up, set up, and that kind of thing. And if you know how to do that, then you should go sign up and do that with them guys." So I said, "Okay, yeah, sounds fun." So I went to the band director, the guy that was in charge of it, and said, "Yeah, I have some experience in this." And he goes, "Well, can you play guitar?" I said, "Yeah."
Yes.
He said, "Can you play bass this Sunday?" I was like, I guess, maybe, sure. So I signed up and played bass, and I think it had been probably 5 years
Wow.
before, and I hadn't touched a guitar.
You're
But-
awesome.
You need a water or anything?
No, I'm good, thanks.
You're-
Trying to quit.
You're awesome.
Yeah.
I know that water stuff. You start
It's
doing
pretty,
it,
yeah.
Right.
can't get out of it.
Goes right through me and stuff. But
Well, when we were doing that video that night, when I went back and rewatched it, I was really bummed out that we didn't really get a good sound on you. So when you guys come back, we're gonna have you dialed in. Really
yeah,
well.
we need to do something like that because
for sure.
we have tried to get good recordings and we just not set up for
Right.
recording. The best.
Yeah, we'll get you guys lined up here for sure.
Yeah, I really
As soon
want
as
to
you
do
guys
that.
get your drummer
Yeah,
tweaked in where he needs to be. He's almost there.
yeah.
But you guys only had what, like 2 or 3 jams?
Yeah,
with him?
we-
you had
we've-
like 2, and then you got everybody sick, right?
Yeah. You're welcome. And then,
Oh man. I
Yeah,
hope
this
it's not
guy.
headed our
yeah,
way.
he's new to our band, so I think he came over and rehearsed with us twice, and then he went on vacation and was gone for 2 weeks, and then I got everybody sick, and we were all sick for 2 weeks, and so it's been a little bit slow going, but it'll come together. It's no hurry.
Mhm.
So
I really liked whenever we went to Cleveland that time. Remember, I talked about that last time. What were we doing in Cleveland together when we went down to the chamber and did all that craziness?
Classic drive.
Did we go and
I
see
think
Bertram's band?
maybe that's what it was. We were seeing Bertram's band.
It was a
up
band
there.
that Bertram knew. Whatever,
Right.
but-
There was something going on. 'Cause
Slap
there was
the
a
table.
whole crew of us that went up there that night. And I just remember, did you end up on stage that night? No?
No, we went down in that one bar. What was the name of it?
The chamber.
I was like, man, all these people are crazy.
It was a vampire bar, right? It was pretty wild.
It was just like, wow.
I never seen anything like
nothing
that. Exactly. That's what I loved.
I was like kind of scared, wanted to leave.
It was right. You're like, get the fuck out of here, Eddie.
They're gonna
Change-
suck me blood. We gotta
Oh,
go.
yeah. I mean, it was really. We went down not really knowing where we were going. We didn't know. We just knew that there were
There's
like
being tech.
girls that were
Okay.
dressed in like black leather and vinyl and latex were coming and going, and I wanted to see that show down there before we went and saw the show that was about to start out there.
Right.
Because they were all still partying in the green room. We knew that. So we went downstairs. But when we got down there, there was like, I think the men's room and the ladies' rooms were flip-flopped. Remember, they were already going back and forth. And you looked at me
What the
and you're
hell?
like, what's going on, dude? I was like, I don't know. Let's go this way. And we went down and they had barber chairs. Yeah, they're like barber chairs or something like that. They were
Your
doing
memory's
like
better than mine.
all kind of stuff on the side. There was lots of fencing and stuff. It was real industrial, you know. It was cool. Definitely my cup of tea.
Hell yeah.
You know, but we got upstairs. The girls were already kind of milling around down there because they got to look at this guy. And then once we got upstairs, it was over, man. Like we were just swamped by chicks because of this dude, man. The ladies loved him.
Awesome. So, what's your hoe count?
Yeah, that's a good one. What's your groupie
I
count,
can't.
dude? Oh, I
Can't.
can't divulge that. I can't divulge
I can't
can't
count that
speak
high. I
for
gotta take my shoes off and everything.
Some of them were 4 at a time, dude.
Right.
How am I supposed to do that math?
Nobody ever wants to give up their count, man. Nobody be kissing and telling around.
One. One.
we know
I've
you're
been
good.
married 33
Yes,
years,
amen,
so
man.
one.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
great,
dude.
man.
You are.
You got a lucky-
That's an applaud. That's an applaud
you
to
got
my
lucky
wife.
and found one of the
because-
good ones. That's
Brenda
why.
is awesome.
She is.
Because I grew up with her and her brother David, and you two are the most cool, devout couple, like together
thanks.
couple that, like, I know, dude. Like, period across the board. It's like, as far as people I've seen together, you guys are the coolest couple, man.
It's all her.
Awesome.
It's all her.
I mean, really, you guys really are.
She's like a saint to be able to put up with me. So.
You keep that shit
You're
together,
a good guy
huh?
too, though, man. You always were. You were always like kind of straight edge. So like we're going to the groupie one, so let's go to the drugs one too. Were you a partier at all? Did you ever do any like that acid?
Yeah,
and
I
stuff
mean,
like
no,
you all
I mean,
were?
never nothing, never
Crazy,
heavy
huh?
like that.
Right.
I did.
Smoke a little weed.
Yeah, I
drink
did.
some beers and some whiskeys and all that shit, huh?
Right. Yep. I did to an excess a little bit early. I decided, you know, I needed to just stop. So I kind of cut it short, you know,
Right.
before it actually took over.
That's how Dave was. When
And
me and Dave.
Sometimes
Yeah,
kids
so-
do that to you. You have that kid and you're like, well, time to grow up.
Yeah, well, you know, I could see I was getting worse and worse, so I could see it was a path to something.
Would you like to drink?
A place I didn't want to go. I was
Uh-huh.
a beer guy.
Beer guy?
I liked beer, so, but
Did you ever do acid or mushrooms or anything?
no,
No
nothing.
pills.
None of the fun shit.
No, I would. No,
I
I
don't know.
smoke a little weed and then be in the
You never
closet
know.
hiding in a fetal position. You know,
Paranoia, right?
I did acid. and
Paranoia.
I saw God.
Yeah, right. Now, you know, you and me partied together quite a few times with your brother down at that house down in Minerva, and that story. You gotta let me tell that story about. Am I allowed?
Yes, I don't know.
that night when he showed up, and
My mom and dad might be watching this.
we were all already rocking and rolling, you know, and he showed up late, so we were 2 hours
They
ahead.
understand.
And he partied, you know, but Paul didn't party real hard. not like us. And he was half asleep, I could tell, because like he had a hard day at work. You just tell. Like
Oh, yeah,
was
he's a
ripped,
block
man.
layer.
I mean, you guys are
Yeah.
a
A
block,
hard
right?
day every.
Yeah, it's a rough
and-
life.
I don't know how it all went, but I ended up getting a big tab of acid that night. I mean, mine was. So I was like, gone. And this guy shows up all tired, and I'm already like jawing and screwing around, you know. I'm like, dude, take it, dude, take it. And he's like, man, I'm just gonna go to bed, man, you know. And he's drinking beer, and he looks over at it and like, and then he went to bed, and he fell asleep. Like he fell asleep for like 2.5 hours, 3 hours. We were all laughing, screaming, carrying on around and trying to get him. I was right in his face, screaming at him, trying to wake him up, and he wouldn't wake up. He was out, snoring out. And I'm like, that Budweiser, man, must have had like ludes in it or something, man. How is that guy out like that?
No, I couldn't handle it. So I was like, just take me out of this situation. I just want to lay here and close my eyes.
me
I don't want
away.
to talk to nobody.
Well,
You know, I just can't deal with that stuff. You know what I mean? That's just way too much for me.
when you woke up and you looked at me and your eyes were just straight pupils like mine, and I went, oh, come on. And you got up and we went downstairs where everybody was jamming, and you were on, man. Like it was all rock and roll after that, dude. It was
I
like
remember
nothing. Yeah, and like you guys didn't
All I
jam.
remember was,
Nobody-
oh, please let me get through this night.
Nobody jammed or anything, but we just laughed and
I
hung
don't
out and
want
drank.
nothing to do with that
Well,
stuff.
I could always drink more whenever we were doing that. For some reason, I could drink beer all night and it wouldn't seem to affect me. It was weird.
I'm sure.
I mean, I heard a lot of other people tell me the same thing, and I don't know what it is about that mix, but I don't know. Now, did you ever like get into anything harder than weed? Is that all you were into too? Was just a little weed on them?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Because you weren't like a real hard partying group of guys. I never
No.
knew you guys to be that. Like you were the clean cut one, big time, and he was the
He had
pretty
long
one.
hair too.
You
We ain't
know?
talking about clean cut.
Well,
He had
out of
long
the
hair,
two,
too.
out of the two of you,
Dude.
man, I don't know. You were.
You
Big
could have
Big
long
Rock.
hair and
Oh,
clean
big
cut
fella
at the
like
same
this.
time.
Yeah, you just looked more.
When we
I
did
don't know,
when we
yeah.
did the Motley Crue thing,
Mm.
that was me, Patrick, and Mike. Both
Probably
of
out
them
of
guys
room.
dyed their hair black, and my
I don't
hair
know.
was blonde.
Now,
Not
see, I don't
really,
remember
but
that.
and we
Yeah, that was
I don't know what
not
it
a
is,
great
I don't-
decision, but
we did
It's
it.
fun to keep up
we
with.
do. I have pictures to prove it
It's
all.
good
so-
memories.
Oh, God, I'd
That's
love
all
to
I
see
can
it.
say.
Yeah.
I'd love
You
to
know what
see
I
it.
mean?
And that's the best part. You know, that was the best time of my life was when we were all hanging out all
Yeah.
the time, every weekend, jamming together, partying together, playing darts,
Living
cooking
our
out.
best
If you would have
life.
only known at the time that those were the good old days,
Right, that
you
was
would have,
like-
you would have,
Right.
you know.
Well, I don't know. We savored them pretty good, man. You know,
Sure.
we had a good time. We really did. That house in Moultrie
Well,
was good
bottom
to
line
us.
is music was way different back then. As you know,
Sure.
You're
Yeah,
right.
it was
yeah.
something to pay attention to,
Right. And it wasn't as accessible.
and that's why we do what we do now is because
'Cause we
I
love
like
it.
that music. You
Yeah,
know?
we love it.
Oh, I love it too. And I love hearing you guys do it. And other people do too. The accounts prove it. And I don't know.
Yep,
like
Classic Drive will be on Chicken Coop Live here in a few more weeks.
Yep. For sure.
And don't forget, the Outhouse podcast
We'll
would
never,
never,
ever,
ever
ever.
tell you to like, subscribe, share,
Don't
and
ever hit that bell. Not the red one.
We'd never tell you to do that.
But if you
By the
want
way.
to, go ahead.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it would sure help
Yeah, I
the
don't
damn
know.
thing out. But
You might get a nicer hat.
yeah, I'll probably get a new hat.
That hat is pretty cool. I like
I
it.
love it.
I just wore this
okay.
because he's
Wondering
the Mad
how I'm
Hatter.
going to be able to take the
My
hat.
memory's not that great, but when me and him had a band,
Oh shit.
we were playing.
What the?
We were
I know,
playing in that
knocking shit
little
over.
house beside the farmhouse.
The little spring house.
Yeah, the spring house.
And it
yeah.
was like
What was
we-
the name of the
we-
band? You remember?
I don't think we half the time we never had a name.
No, it
We
had
just
a name.
played.
I'm just
Maybe
waiting for you
Razor's
to.
Edge,
No, no. Catapult.
No, I don't
Yeah.
think. No, that
I
was when
think
we
it-
had Jason Wells.
Yeah, but it was
Oh, there's
that
a
was
great
what the
name
band
from the
was
past,
called.
man.
But I was getting back to
I
the
love
point.
Wellesley.
We were playing in there, and we had. I can't believe we still have ears,
Right.
but we had them guitars
I don't
cranked
can
to the
hear.
max.
Oh, of
In
course.
this little room, smaller in here. And Tom came over and played, and that's one of the first times I ever met him. He played drums for
Yeah,
us.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
what I was
Remember that?
wondering.
Yeah. That's what I was saying earlier. You guys, oh, that motherfucker, he plays too. You're putting too much into the song. You gotta go.
I don't know how
No,
it went.
man.
I don't know how it went. You came over and
Yeah, we jammed a few times.
It's because Mike
you was
was
jamming with Mike.
Mike was playing drums,
Uh-huh.
and he didn't want to play drums anymore.
Yeah, because he started
He
playing
was
bass.
he was
Is that
wanting
how
to get
that
out
went?
of it. Yeah.
Probably was
But
with
Dalton
Morgan.
was playing
you guys
bass or
wouldn't
something
sing.
for a minute. I think when I come over and jam
He-
with you, Dalton was playing bass.
He played bass
For
a
a
little
couple
bit
times,
out of
and then
necessity because
doing
yeah, when we didn't have a bass player, he'd play bass, but his passion was guitar as well. So
Mhm.
we tried to, we tried to.
Talk about Danny Dog.
Yeah,
You
Danny
talking about the one from down here?
No.
from East Canton. Yeah, but we had a number of different guys play in that band. Craig Brown. Yeah, he was probably the first
That
one.
was a stereo Craig Brown.
I don't
You
think
remember?
ever
Do you remember
him.
Craig
He
Brown?
was tall like you.
I remember that name.
And this dude.
Yeah, he
could-
was from your hood. So
I mean, he barely talked, but he could sing "Save All Your Love" by Great White.
he
Perfect.
sounded real good.
Killer.
Oh man, I love Great White. That was another great band. Remember Kingdom Come? They were really good.
I seen
too.
them live.
They were awesome, man.
I seen them live with the Bullet Boys and Cinderella at
Oh
the
man,
Richfield
remember the Bullet
Coliseum.
Boys, right. That's another one.
That was a good show, man. Really good show.
Kingdom Come, man. We played the shit out of that record that
Uh-huh.
year. We played Pool and listened to it. Tim Burwell, you got to remember that.
Tim Burwell?
That's another name. He taught me to shoot pool the right way, the cheat way. We were playing some really
Which
weird
Burwell's
games.
the one that worked with us? Ed.
Yeah, Ed.
I believe
Yeah,
that's a relation.
Maybe.
We traded punches
Yes,
that day, and
yes.
he had Aerosmith and Run DMC. What was that song? Walk This Way. And it was literally, he played it that day one time, and the next, it never went away the rest of the summer.
I remember
Like,
he used to this is what I'm talking about Ed now, but he had this car. He worked at the same place we worked doing bricklaying, but he had this car. It didn't have a steering wheel. He had a pair of vice grips, and then he would clamp this vice grip on the
thing.
bolt,
I see my
the
Uncle
steering
Jerry do that
column,
shit.
and so he'd be steering. I went to lunch with him once, and he's steering this thing with
Imagine
a
if that thing let
with a
loose,
wrench.
boy.
He's steering the car with a wrench, and he's steering, and all of a sudden the wrench pops off.
Oh,
And he can't steer. We're just like
Oh,
headed
man.
towards the intersection, and
Like,
he's
brakes,
nice and
brakes.
calm. He was super calm. He just tightened the thing up a little bit and clipped it on there. and Didn't miss a beat. I was like, wow, that is the nuttiest thing I ever
Shit,
seen,
my
man.
Wow.
What piece of junk you could just buy a steering wheel
would
for
have been
this?
shit in my pants. I would have.
Yeah,
Like, what the
crazy,
hell?
man.
I like this new mic setup I have, but I've been knocking it all over the place. I
That's
gotta
crazy.
get.
Yeah, it's nuts.
So you guys, I mean, who was your influences? What got you? Who was like you're like, oh,
You want to go?
We grew up in Greentown. So when I was like, I don't know, 10, 12, I started taking guitar lessons. And my parents moved us from there to Georgia when I was 16. And Patrick, he was probably, 13?
If that, yeah.
3 or 4 years apart, but we are. Anyways, he wasn't doing very good with the fitting in and change, going from Ohio to Georgia. So he just quit going to school. He was hiding in the woods. Remember that?
With Sasquatch.
So anyway,
Right.
he must have met a friend and he started playing guitar. And I already had bought a brand new guitar and amp. I was 16 years
Remember what
old.
kind
And
it
I
was?
said, "Here, you can have it."
You remember what kind it was?
I gave him
I
his
do.
guitar.
It was a
and his-
Lotus.
a Lotus.
Oh, what a
right?
great
Lotus.
name. That's a great name.
And he played every day.
What was
24 hours
what was
a day,
your
just like this guy. And, he
What-
picked it up quick.
what was your influences to get into music? That was the
The
question.
first concert I ever went to was Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil,
Mm-hmm.
That was probably
and
a hell of a
Ozzy
show.
Osbourne, Bark at the Moon at
That was
Richfield
great.
Coliseum.
Yeah.
That was when I first started figuring out that I wanted to listen to music.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I went to see 84 Jump and they were sold out. So then we moved to Georgia and then we went and seen Dokken and
Yeah.
Accept and
Yeah.
all these 80s bands were
Right.
coming out
Balls
back
to
then.
the
I mean, Guns N'
wall.
Roses just
Down,
barely
down,
started coming out
That's a
around
good
that
one.
time.
Balls to the wall, baby.
So I just slowly, and Rat, actually, Rat was the only cassette
That was
I
my
had in my
first
car.
one.
I listened to that thing full blast.
Rat was
And
killer,
Patrick would be
man.
like, turn that down. I'm like, no.
He still
It's
does.
full blast.
He still does that. I'll go over and his music's blasting. Like,
That's all I am.
PA,
Come on.
but not in my car.
I gotta tell you, I'm dying to hear Classic Drive to Youth Gone Wild, Skid Row. Your version of it. Now that we're all grown up.
We used to do it.
I love that song. I always
good
love
one.
that song.
I want to see him do monkey business.
Yeah, I know you said that.
I like that one too. We could do that.
my influence. This is my influence. When I was probably 14, maybe, I think, Paul took me to a concert. I wasn't really, I mean, I liked music, but I wasn't really into music yet. I went to a concert with him, which was Ronnie James Dio, Last in Line. But this was the
I met
kicker.
Dio.
This was the kicker right here.
Great dude.
The opening band was Dokken.
Nice.
And when I seen George Lynch playing guitar, and he had a terrible night that night too. He had a
Terrible night when we saw
he-
it.
Yeah,
he had
every
a terrible.
time I've seen
Well,
well,
first,
not
his first problem was he's playing this ripping solo and he's walking across the stage and he had a guitar cord. It wasn't cordless.
Nice.
He pulled his cord out, not from his guitar because it was tied to his
shit,
strap
from his pedal.
from the amp backstage.
Oh, wow.
And it apparently took whatever band, music tech, guitar tech, took them like, it seemed like an eternity to get that plugged back in because half the song was over by the time
He
he
probably
started.
didn't even know what was going on. He was like freaking out. Like,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
happened?
you could see the panic in his
Oh, I'm
face. And
sure.
plus, he was the only guitar player,
Right,
so all
it
of a
dropped
sudden it's
out.
just
Yeah,
drums
it
and
dropped
bass,
out.
and it was
Right.
pretty. And then that wasn't the extent of it. Another song, he's playing
Alexander the
along
Great.
and busts a string,
Oh, man.
and you know when you bust a string
It's
with
over.
with a
Floyd
Floyd
Rose.
Rose on,
It's over.
Oh, man.
you can't keep playing. But for some reason, he didn't know that. He busted
Oh.
a string and he kept playing.
That was
And I was
terrible.
like, ah!
Right.
Oh, man.
But I was so impressed by this guy. So impressed. I was like, man, I have got to be just like him. I want a guitar like his guitar. I want my hair like his hair. I want to wear the clothes
Yep.
I want to be that guy. And
What
so I
was-
did everything I could to do it.
What was the hit? What was the hit they were playing then?
Breaking the chains.
Ah, man, my kid.
And that's
I think
why
guys play
when
that
we
one.
play that song, Paul always says like, I don't want to
I
do
know,
that.
he always
But
makes me sing.
I
when
gotta
I'm around.
have, I have
I
to
don't mind,
have
though. I
that
like it.
song. You know, I have to have it because that was my beginning influence right there. If
Right.
it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't have played.
Your brother-in-law and me used to lip sync the one from Freddy 4. What was the?
Oh, the Dream Warriors.
Warriors.
Yeah, that's a cool song,
yeah,
too.
That was a, man. The video was awesome for the time too. you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
I
it was
mean,
perfect.
We
but-
loved that. And Freely's Comment, I remember we were playing that a lot around the same time for some reason. That was like a one radio hit off that. That was kind of a big deal when Freely did that.
You guys ever been to a complete shit show? I'm sure.
Well,
What you got a story on that?
Oh my God, you got to
Yeah.
have a bunch. Because you guys, how many shows do you think you've played between the two?
Well, I
of
was
you?
just referring to actually
Well,
going to
he's
seeing a
played time.
concert.
we
I mean, when you're in a band, you got plenty of shit shows. I was just referring to.
Oh,
like a big-
somebody
yeah.
else's shit show. Most of the shows that I've seen were pretty good. I
That's
mean,
what I said too.
um,
As long as they try.
Never
They're-
walked out
well,
disappointed. Like,
no,
damn.
I've seen Motley Crue a lot of times, and they never were very good anytime I seen them, except the last time I just went and seen them at the stadium tour, and I thought they did really well there, but I heard
Backing
through the
tracks.
grapevine that they're doing backing
Right.
tracks, so that would explain why they did so well, but most of the time, mean, the band's always on. They're always really good. Bands are always tight, sound great, but their vocals are always terrible. Even back in the '80s when I seen them, in their heyday when they were young, they weren't that good then. I mean, but
Dr. Feelgood was really awesome. I remember because that came out like right around my senior year, and we played that.
I don't know. When I seen him shout the devil, I thought they blew Ozzy off the stage.
Right.
See,
Well, maybe they did. The music.
You know, I liked that. You know, my mom and dad used to watch like Dance Fever and all that stuff, and there was this one that had Adrian Zemed, I think, was hosting it. For whatever reason, I'm remembering his name, and Motley Crue was on there, and they did "Shout at the Devil," but they didn't do it until I think that was the second one. I think the first one they did was the single, which was the nice one, and it was "Too Young to Fall in Love." And then, or no. What was the other song that was real big off that one? It wasn't.
They had a ton of them.
It wasn't "Bastard," that's for sure.
Yeah.
But they played whatever that was, and then they played that last.
Oh, you said Red Hot?
No, it wasn't Red Hot. I'm thinking, for some reason, I keep thinking it's...
Merry Go Round and Round?
No, that was off our first one.
Right. That was the one with the crotch shot on the cover, like the Stones, the Rolling Stones. Sticky Fingers was like that, too. It had the Warhol zipper. Wow. Flashback. Woo!
I love all of the Motley Crue stuff, pretty much.
I do, too.
But, yeah, we was doing so many of them, man. We don't have hardly any in our set anymore, but
I haven't heard you guys do one.
I know.
I
It's kind of a shame.
Like 4 or 5 of them.
And
We got
Well,
9.
I was gonna say, what you talking about?
Actually, no. We've trimmed it back to like 4.
Oh.
We've trimmed it back to 4.
Now,
So it's kind of unfortunate because I liked doing that stuff.
yeah, man.
Maybe
I'd
I
love
can-
to hear some more.
Maybe we can talk the rest of the gang into putting some more of them back. But
Yeah, we had that one girl came up and we did that show at JP's.
yeah.
And she's like, I'm coming to see you guys every time. The only thing she cared about was the Motley Crue stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we did it. We
They have
do
a
it well.
diehard fan base, you know, that just loves everything about them and everything about their music, you know. And like, do you guys do Wild Side?
Yeah.
Home Sweet Home?
Home Sweet Home.
City Boy Blues?
No, not that one.
Yeah, that's a good one too. How about Louder Than Hell? You got to do that.
We didn't do that.
Oh,
no.
come on.
Kickstart My
boy.
Heart?
We used to do it,
No.
but that wasn't part of the reason.
Yeah, we
Shout
have
at the Devil,
we
right?
did Louder Than Hell. That was in our set for a little while when we dropped it. But,
Now, you guys did a song in your set the other day that was a repeater. You guys did it the last time I saw you guys. It's kind of country westerny sounding. What was that?
The beer drinker song?
Yeah, what is
ZZ
that? Is
Top.
that you guys?
That's
or-
No,
a
that's
ZZ
ZZ
Top
Top.
song.
No
It's
shit.
called Beer Drinkers and
Never heard that?
Hellraisers.
Never heard it.
Van
You guys
Halen,
played
Van
it.
Halen did it.
A
You
lot of
guys
people
were-
have
That's a
done
great
that.
tune.
I love it,
Yeah.
man, and I
Yeah.
love you guys doing it.
It's like a
You guys
bluesy.
really
So-
kill that song, man, and it was that's
It's like
another
a
one of my
Texas
favorites that you guys
blues.
do.
So
Love
that,
That's good.
so there's a couple. Give us some of you guys' songs, so when they do, these guys are gonna know what to expect. Or if you guys can find these guys on Facebook
Yeah, find
Classic
them
under this
Drive.
Classic Drive.
Yeah.
You can find me under Tom Dalo, Eddie Budinsky.
Don't
Go
be
there
such
and
a
hit that
Budinsky.
follow button. Paul and Patrick Mozzochi,
Don't hit that bell.
Gas Band for me.
Whatever you do, don't hit
Name
the bell.
some songs.
Well, all of the songs that we do are like the '80s stuff.
Tesla, which is
Yeah,
on
we
your
do
shirt.
Tesla. We do 2 Tesla songs, Modern Day Cowboy and Little Susie.
I like that one too when you guys.
Which, if
did
you
it.
watch the live
Yeah.
stream, I got up and did the acoustic part with them.
I really like that.
That
too.
was cool as shit.
Yeah,
too.
they're both cool songs, super cool. I really enjoy playing them, and we do a couple of We try to do at least 2 of a band if we can.
I love
so,
the rap
but-
songs.
I do.
They're
Yeah,
my favorites.
we do Round
I
and
like
Round
Big One.
and Back for More.
When you guys did Back for More, when we stumbled down into the basement a few weeks ago, man, that was it. I was an ultimate fan right then. Because
Yeah.
like me and David, he'll tell you too, we lip synced that song so many times on that stage behind his house. So many times. And like people would just come by and throw handfuls of change and go, "Good job, guys," you know,
Yeah.
and it was awesome.
Back for More is the very first song that we play.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And
Sorry, that's what I meant to do. Sorry.
I've asked
Getting
I know
into
what
my
I'm
pile over there,
everybody,
buddy.
All effed up.
if they wanted to change the song list so it's
Right.
not exactly the same every time, and everybody's like, no, Back for More has got to be first. So that's the very first
There
song.
you go.
So
Did you guys do Wanted Man?
nope.
That's a
No,
good one too. I
no,
really
we
like
only
that song.
do those two. I mean, there's a possibility to put more in there, but
I really like the Foreigner tune, and I think Paulie does a
Yeah.
hell of a job on
the
it. too.
Foreigner song is Double Vision,
Very good.
and it actually doesn't really fit in our '80s
but it
things of
does.
music,
Nice-
but
it's a nice.
people enjoy
It's a
it.
great
change
tune.
up.
man.
Yeah,
It's a
people
change
enjoy it, and it's fun to play, and so we leave it in there just because of that.
You're such a good.
You guys
guitar
did
player,
play some
dude.
Alice in Chains. Why'd you drop
we did.
them?
Well, we did. We dropped the Alice in Chains because
I'm not
also
your singer.
also
I don't
doesn't
know what I did wrong on that, but
it just didn't really seem
Jive
to
with
fit.
your-
Yeah, it
with
wasn't
your-
fitting what we were doing.
Yeah.
So
What song did you do?
we did Wood.
Oh man, that's a great one. I love to
Ain't
hear
Like
you guys
That.
do
Ain't
that.
Like That. What else? We did another one too. It's like a more of acoustic kind of a song.
Down
in a hole?
Yeah.
down.
I can't remember the name of it right now.
It's fine. Come
Yeah, that one.
What's the name?
Right
of it?
now, people are screaming. Right now, they're
Yeah, they're
screaming.
screaming.
Like,
because they
I was
like
in an
that.
Alice in Chains tribute band, and I cannot think of that damn song. I keep thinking of Dan, but that's not it. It's,
That's because I just said it the other day to you.
No excuses.
See, Larry,
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thanks,
not only
God.
is he running the
There he
camera
is.
action, but he's over there.
There he is.
Yeah,
It's
no
like Ed
excuses.
said, man.
Dio, we do Holy Diver, Last in Line, and Don't Talk to Strangers.
Which
And Rainbow
Paulie
in the
does
Dark.
really
And-
good on
and-
them.
No.
those are
Oh no, yeah,
I
not
love
really.
that
yeah. We
one,
used
too.
to do Rainbow, and we
Paulie, your voice
I-
now, you could make any song your own, baby. Just do it.
And-
do whatever you want, man.
there's been a few
I
times.
try to sing it more my way than.
Do it. Exactly.
There's
'Cause
been
it's
a-
awesome, man. You got all the you're an entertainer, man. You're like this guy over
Absolutely.
here. And once the lights come on and the music comes up, the real Paulie
It's time
comes
to
out.
go.
Right.
Well, it's all about the music.
There's
It
been
is.
a there's
You
been
can
a
Ain't got nothing to do with anything else.
You can tell. And like it's pure with you. That's what I love about it. That's what I've always loved about it. And you're not afraid to speak your mind about it either. You know, you just tell people, hey man, whatever, F off.
there's been a few times where people have said, "Hey, let's that song Holy Diver, let's not do that one." No, it's not negotiable.
Right.
For me, it's not
He's
negotiable.
talking about me.
Well, I've had other people say that too. Like when Pat, our other bass player, Pat, he was like, "Let's no." I said, "No, it's not negotiable.
I mean, it's a great
this
tune, so
song is too good to
Right.
not do. We
Especially
we
you
have
do
to
it
do
right.
it. Yeah, I didn't put all my
Yeah, you
heart
really
and
do
soul
them
into
deals.
this song and not
More
play
deals.
it.
You just
Songs
said
that
it
I'd
too,
rather
Dio.
do.
I love Sacred Heart by
Plus,
Dio.
you
That was
play
another
that
one,
song for
man.
so long, it's
Love
like,
it.
Right.
I
come
love
on,
that riff.
let's do something else. You know what I mean? But
We recently picked up some GNR stuff, Guns N' Roses. So
Right?
so what was Out to Get Me?
It's a good one.
It's so easy.
That's a good
Another
one.
good
And
one.
Sweet Child of Mine,
And that's a classic.
which people, it was when I mentioned let's do Sweet Child of Mine, everybody was like, ooh, ooh,
a hard
yeah,
one,
that's
man.
I don't know about that.
It's a
which
hard one.
which I'm with you, it's not really my favorite
Well, the
song,
thing
but
is with
people
Sweet Child
like
of
it.
Mine,
They really like
when
it.
we did the last thing where everybody was playing,
Right.
I sang it clean and tried to sing the dirty parts.
Right. How you gonna do that
Oh,
with
no.
him? His voice is
Axl
insane.
Rose, he sings
Right.
dirty
Well,
all the
yeah,
way through.
Right.
And if I sing it dirty
It'll
all the way
eat you
through,
up.
no, it doesn't eat me up.
Oh.
I sing it better.
Oh, well
I
then.
got more control because I'm trying to switch
Right.
from clean to dirty.
That's what I was
Some of that stuff, I'm better off singing it dirty all the way through
just staying that way.
on that song.
Right. I was like Pretty Tied Up. I like
I
the
love
Use Your
that
Illusion
tune.
1 and 2, but that song Pretty Tied Up was just, there was something about it. All the other stuff that was on the radio all the time, it just burned me out. I never.
I
Really,
like the old stuff. That's all I.
I never really
None of
liked
the news.
Guns N' Roses much.
I didn't
like
like them when they
never
first
really
came
liked
out.
them.
I didn't like
I
them,
liked
but then
Appetite.
they grew on me
That's
Yeah,
what
some
I
of
like.
it
Why do
grows
you
on
think
me
they're so
too.
famous?
because they're good.
Oh,
Well,
they
no,
were-
because Appetite and Destruction's what made it.
Yeah, Appetite was a. You gotta understand. Let's see. You guys were there. Where was music at that point on the radio? You know,
Motley Crue,
and-
Rat, all that stuff.
right?
Mhm.
And it had been there for a minute now, and we were all kind of used to it. And then out of nowhere, in like in
Yep,
1987,
brazen,
you had this just dirty streets of LA sound.
no makeup.
Right.
Yeah, they were a little
No-
different. They were a little different than what was
They looked
going
like
on at the
bikers
time.
Right.
on the
So-
promo packaging, you know, they looked like
Mhm.
they were bikers. They looked like they'd kick your ass, not play music, and that was part
At
of the
that time,
selling
because
point.
everybody had that glam look going.
Exactly, exactly, because the fans were getting burned out with I think the leotards and the
Poison.
spandex and all, and that too. Because I remember my friend showed me that album when it came out, and they looked like chicks. And I went, oh, hot chicks, what do they play? And he started laughing. He goes, those are dudes. And he called me like some, slanderous terms. And I started laughing. I was like, well, you'd never know. And besides, you're the one that bought the record, asshole. So there you go. And I liked, what was it? Look What the Cat Dragged In. That was a great
Well,
song.
that's how
Poison.
they were promoted back then.
Yeah,
Them
Poison.
guys
That's
ain't
Poison.
like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. It was all
I
about
hated them back
promotion.
then too.
It was all about
My
promotion.
ex-wife, she had posters on my. I could look up the ceiling and there's pictures.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hated them.
Right. And, I really didn't like
Like
it
years
either,
later,
like
it's
my
like,
friends
yeah, it
did.
ain't too bad, you know.
But I like that
like some of
song.
their stuff.
Look What the Cat Dragged In was a good one. And all their albums.
I'm never
had at
gonna
least
make it.
a
I
good
gotta
song
use the
on it,
bathroom now.
really. But my taste was always like more towards the King Diamond stuff.
Mm.
I always did go that way. I don't know. Metallica was cool, but King Diamond, Andy the Rock. Man,
See, it
that
took me
guitar.
forever to get to liking that heavy stuff, boy. I was just like, what the?
Oh, man,
I look up to the
guitar.
vocals that can do that, but to be honest with you, I really don't like that style.
It's parts, right? Because he's basically doing falsetto the whole time almost, and it's just
It kind of gets
He
a
made it
little
a
bit
style.
monotonous,
yes,
to be honest with you. But,
yes, and that's what I
But
almost
being
like
versatile,
about it.
you just have to mix it in. You
Right.
can't do it all the time.
And the guitar
Right.
is what kept me around because Andy the Rock is just amazing, even today. He's still doing it, just like you. How many years you been playing now?
I've been playing for. Oh man, wow,
A long
30.
damn time.
over 35 years.
Do you know how long
Right.
'Cause
forever
I'm
is?
pretty old. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember hearing about you when I was not even in the scene yet, man. About that
Yeah.
guy can play guitar, man.
I've been playing since BC.
Before children.
Well, that's crazy.
I was-
Before children.
Mike was a pretty big name
BC,
for a
before
while
children.
with singing and everything. Mike was
Before
good.
Classic Drive.
Patrick never really played with him in a band. He was always me and him when we did have bands. It was
Right.
just me and him. I don't know why, but that's just how it went. But Mike went the other way. He was into the death metal for a long time,
He came along,
but he
and
changed.
He's just
Yeah.
an all-around, like you guys. He's an all-around musician, and he just accommodated. He did what he had to do to play in the moment.
No, I think he did what he liked to do. That was
Well, that too, right? He followed his heart. That's how he's going to
him
finish
and
it.
Bertram.
Right.
I know that's
I
how
love Brian.
Mikey started. I don't call him Mikey. I call him Mike, but that's how he got into that style of music. Was Bertram.
Really? Now, how far
Bertram
did
was into. You remember Brian?
Oh, yeah. Brian
He's
came to
good.
East Canton in junior high.
You got them two guys?
Yeah.
Who was the
Yeah.
drummer?
Mike.
Oh, that's right. Mike
Yeah,
was
right.
drummer.
Joshua was the
Joshua.
bass
And
player.
then I don't
Yeah.
know who it was he had
Now-
singing for him.
Bass.
That was the.
There was a story going
It was
around.
before him, right before
Yep.
him.
There was a story going around
He was good though, but I can't remember.
that
who
they
it
were
was.
going to get signed. Discord. And I remember everybody was talking about it. We were all excited for him too. Because
gonna
if you
make
think
it.
back, Discord was really awesome. They were a great band.
Oh, it was
I
awesome.
Loved them. And I'm not going to talk any shade about them. I just had a problem with how Josh did me.
Do you remember who played bass for him?
Joshua.
Josh.
Josh.
His name was Josh Walder. Yeah. And he's still around to my knowledge, but not here. He's down in Tennessee somewhere. And he had a real bad substance problem. And the night that they were going to get signed, I heard, and this is no shit, I went to the movies that day, and he went with me because he was real nervous about playing at Sadie's in front of this talent scout or whatever that was supposed to be there for like a major record label, is what everybody was saying. And I remember we went and saw the movie, and then he hit it off with the girl that sold the tickets. And she said, hey, I'm going to Vegas tonight. And she happened to do his candy of choice. And I'm not kidding. I was supposed to pick him up and go out to Sadie's that night. When I called, he never picked up. So I figured, oh, shit, he probably got with Brian or Mikey, and they're going to go do the show that way. So I just drove out. He pulled a no-show. And that's how it went down, I thought.
What in the hell?
And everybody was like, wait a minute, what? And he was actually on the road to Vegas then. Now, I didn't see him for, man, about 10 months. And he always used to make fun of me because I liked Batman and I loved the Joker. And he showed up wearing a Joker shirt he used to ridicule me for wearing that he picked up when he was in Vegas. And he had lost 120 pounds in about 9 months. And
Damn, that's a lot.
he was a different person. And I don't know. It was a lot. Everything was different.
I never knew that.
Everything was different.
A lot of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, that's how that stuff goes, you know what I mean? That's the great
People
dream
come and
ender.
go, you know.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
should
yeah.
have taken his ass to that show that night. Some guys are afraid of their own success. This is a true thing. They can be looking right at it, and they will run the other way because they are afraid of how it might change their life in the negative. Don't think about all positives, you know? And that's really true.
Damn it, Bobby.
There.
And, you know, we don't want to ask you guys, and we'll never, ever, ever ask you guys to like and subscribe or hit that stupid bell.
Or share any of that.
Any of that. We're not
To
like
the
those other guys.
Outhouse
Hey,
podcast.
You started on Bigfoot and all that.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
You
s-
got really revved up, but you got an alien.
I was just getting ready. You
Okay.
read my mind,
I've
dude.
been doing that. Did you see when we started talking about Discord and that put me back into your wave
Uh-huh.
again? Because last time I was trying to remember Discord.
Well, hold
And
up.
I
Let's
looked
talk
at you
about
and I pulled it
let's
out
talk
of your
about
head.
when you jammed with Mike.
You know. When I jammed with
Yeah.
Mikey, it was that's how I met Tom. We kind of touched on that before, but like I wanted Mikey in the band. First of all, you could ask Stevie and
Well, I know we already went
what's
through
his
all
name?
that. I'm talking about you was singing for that band.
Screaming, growling. I didn't really
Growling.
sing. You can't
You
really
was
say
their
that.
main
Oh, whatever.
screamer.
They
Right.
call it singing.
Right.
But you had a shaved head,
Oh yeah, that's right. I
and
did.
you actually had a pretty big presence as far as
Yeah.
your
Well, I liked,
personality.
and I liked that we painted our faces because that's that mask. That
I
lets you
don't
be a
remember that.
character when you're
Right.
on stage, and I loved that. But the
Oh,
guys
that's
didn't.
why I do the hat.
See, the guys didn't. Right, exactly.
Right.
You transform into your character, you know. And my character was kind of a scary one in that world, you know. It really was. But okay, go on. I'm sorry. 'Cause you-
I'm just saying. I mean, that was a long time ago.
oh yeah.
I don't
right.
even remember how it came and went. And
Well, it was special for me because it was happening to me and your brother, you know? And like when I went down, they told me, they said, look, you're the singer in the band. You got to get rid of these other guys. And I was like, get rid of them? Well, how am I supposed to do that? Well, you'll figure it out, you know? So, okay, well, I'm going to tell him what? And I think it was Mikey who told me, just tell him I'm in your band now. And I'm going to be jamming with you guys, and they'll know what's up. And that's pretty much what I did. And I told him, like, Tom didn't even flinch. He just kept jamming. And, like, he was really, like, I don't know, entertaining, man. There was something
Like, well,
about
if that's
his
it, it's
presence,
it. Better
you
get
know
the
what I
last
mean?
one in.
And then I
yeah.
tried to get him. I was like, you know, we need to get him in the band. You know, I wanted to get him in our band. Because we still weren't rounded out yet. We got Rocky even later on. You know, it never
I
really,
didn't know that.
yeah, it never really gelled it right away. It took a minute for us to get there. And I don't know, that too, because I'm impatient, you know. I'm impatient. And I'm like, I talked about my mom, you know, how she did vocals. I was the same way. We'll do it 50 effing times until we get it right. You guys are going to know this shit in your sleep. We're not going to screw up on some big stage somewhere because, you know, we didn't play it enough times because, you know, you didn't like that chord. It made your wrist hurt.
But
You were the singer in the band. Did you ever notice that it's kind of like there's drama and they come to you with it?
No.
Was it that way for you?
No.
No?
I've always dealt with it.
It was for you?
Yeah,
you were the
it
one?
always.
Well,
for
you
some reason,
wanted
Everybody
to.
gets a
I
hold of
didn't
you.
want to. It always trickled my way. So
It's always a pain in the ass to keep it on the tracks, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
oh,
you got
yeah.
all those personalities
and
depending on...
and I've found, you know, people are gonna do what they do.
Right.
So you can't do nothing about that.
I
But
always said the
I
cream rises
I
to the
like
top.
I like when I'm in a group with people, I like to try to do life with them a little bit too, not to just be bandmates, but
Right, be
but
friends.
try to like
Try to be friends.
do things as friends, do life together. Really, like if whatever hobby you have, you might ride motorcycles, go on rides together, go check bands out together, have breakfast and every now and then,
Right.
and those kinds of things.
It's important.
It's one thing to be able to play with another musician, but if you're playing with people that you care about and you have that
You
personal
gotta love it,
connection,
right?
there's a chemistry that makes your music so much better.
Right.
You can be great musicians and play with great musicians and it not
Right.
do the same thing.
Right.
Or you can get into play with some guys that are not even really that good, but man, it just sounds so great.
Right.
It's the same equipment, it's the same guys, but
Right.
it sounds so much better.
That
But the
vibe is
reason
there.
why is because of the connection that you have with
That's
each other.
right, the love.
And so I think that's important. But
Without the love, it's just a contract, baby.
yeah, but you know, I've had my share of drama with.
Now, I see
know.
you guys, and I can see it sometimes even now when you guys look at each other, that little sly smile. So
Well, we're brothers.
that's right.
We're
You
kind
guys
of
are tight,
linked
man.
together
That's
that
right.
way.
You're tight. You can read each other's
Toy,
minds and
like a
shit.
toy
We
guy.
don't get along a lot.
Like a
But-
team of
And that's what I was going to
tigers.
ask. So, like, my brothers and I are tight now. Now, when we were kids, though, my brother Joe was the instigator. And my brother Eric, all he had to do was look at me,
Right.
because he would do these things with his eyes that would just set me off, man. And so he's the older brother, right?
Yeah,
So, were you getting like the knuckles and stuff when you guys were kids?
We had a little bit of that. Not a lot. We were pretty close, actually.
That's how we were too.
We were
never
like-
had a fist fight.
Well, we've
I
had
can
a
say that.
few.
We've never had a
but
fist fight.
That's a long time ago.
They
Never
were.
ever.
They would usually be. I hit him and take off running, and I was always faster than him.
Did
So
you guys ever like come to blows where you guys were picking up your dukes and actually tried to hurt each other? Did you ever like get into a fist fight?
no, yeah, not
See,
really.
man.
See, we never
That
did
sucked
either.
for me because Larry and them was always old. They used to beat the shit out of me.
Right,
My-
yeah.
him and my cousins, the divorce, yeah, they used to get me good.
We used to
Ricky's
wrestle.
on there.
Is he? What's up, Ricky? Ricky?
I dig the stories you guys talking about.
We used to wrestle around, because big time wrestling was a big thing. And it's funny you touched on that because we're gonna draw you back in now with that, I guess. How many wrestling events did you do? I'm dying
Oh
to know.
man, I probably did. Man, a lot. And that, in fact,
Did you meet any of those guys
Oh,
the way you
dude.
met some of the musicians?
so here's the story. When we would go to the queue and set them up, when we would get done, or not done, but in the middle when it was time to eat, they always bring catering. We would sit in catering right next to all of them. I mean, they'd be right there. And then when they're setting up the shit, them dudes are sitting in the stands watching it,
Oh, man.
walking around eating them freaking like little granola bars and them little peanut butter and jelly,
Bars,
them
right.
little what are them little things with the peanut butter and jelly sandwich
Sandwiches?
little things, sandwiches or whatever the hell. But like on the WWE backstage, there's tables full of shit, cereal and all this protein shit that they can eat. You know what I mean? And they got all these little things set up. Like when you're watching it and they do those little scenes, they're all set up everywhere and all that shit. But that was one of the shows that got to be so big and such a pain in the ass that I quit doing them. It was just, you're there for so long and it's just like, oh my God, them and TSO, I just quit. It's
How
just
long
too
did
much.
it take to set that up, that wrestling stuff?
All day.
So it was just a day?
I mean, they get there at 7 in the morning and start unloading trucks, and by 3 o'clock, they'd probably be ready. 3, 4 o'clock, it'd be
Wow.
time. And I've done it all. I've done the lighting. I've set up the stage where that wall is, where they walk around. I've set that room up that they sit in. At what's his McMahon or whatever the hell his name is. He sits back in there, and they all come up and talk about it, and then they come out where that
Wow.
video wall is and
Right.
shit. In fact, we was there one day and just got it set up. They just got the video wall plugged in and it was doing its thing. And I went up to dude, I had a flip phone, and I went up to him real close. I was like, here, man, take a picture of me. And I said, but be cool, because you know how they are. And he's like, click, hands me my phone back. in 10 seconds, this dude was like, "Hey, you, give me your phone." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "You erase that picture right now and show me or I'm taking your phone." Yeah. And all I did was took a picture of me in front of the video wall, dude. They got cameras set up where they're watching the whole thing, dude. Don't try to steal nothing and don't do no dumb shit
Well,
because they're watching, bro.
They're heavily
They're watching.
you know.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It was heavily licensed.
Group, you know.
But yeah, them guys.
Everybody's got to get their piece.
But
of
yeah,
the
we
pie.
would eat with them and we'd sit there and talk to them and all kinds of chicks and everything. We'd be in all like table right next to us, man.
'Cause
It was
that's
crazy.
on all the time.
Yeah.
Every Monday or whatever. I mean,
Done all that shit, man. Did the
You-
pyro?
you seemed like you weren't really a big fan of it.
Not really. It was a pain in the ass.
So, how many? You guys. Did you ever play any big stages,
Nope.
or what you would consider to be a big stage?
I played at the church that I went to.
All right.
Right. So
That's a big crowd.
I remember I told you that I did I signed up to be a tech and ended up playing bass for the church this Sunday. Oh well, the very next Sunday, the band leader said, "Hey, can you play guitar this week?" So I was like, "Yeah, sure." And so I never joined their tech team. Actually, I just started playing guitar for the band,
the strings.
for the church band.
Wow.
And so, but
That's
the church, it started out kind of small, but it kept growing, and it grew to about 600 to 700 people every week. And then, so the stages were getting bigger because of the churches were growing.
Yeah. Right.
But we went to a conference and played at this gigantic mega church
Oh, nice.
on this stage that was like 90 feet wide. There was nobody there, but I played on this giant stage.
That's awesome,
And there
though,
was only
right.
like 50 people that went to this thing. But I was at this big, huge mega church on this giant
Oh,
stage, and
man.
I thought, wow,
That
this is
sounds
so
awesome.
cool. You're just way up in the air, and
Right.
it sounded so
It's gotta
great.
sound great,
Oh yeah,
right,
it sounded
yeah.
great.
Playing with the
But
angels, buddy.
it's neat.
We
That's awesome.
we set up this band. It was one of those Christian bands that it's. If I remember the name, you'd know who I was
Striper.
talking. No, not that big.
You got any Striper songs?
Oh no, no.
But it's a church up in Akron, and we're setting it up, and I noticed there's a light down in the middle of the stage, and it's like in the middle of the stage where the whole congregation can see the light. And I'm like, I asked them, I was like, why they got a light in the middle of the stage? And it was like, well, that's to let you know when God's in the building. I said, what?
Wow.
Like what? So apparently they got some stooge in the back room hitting a button
When
that makes
God
this light
shows up.
comes on every now and again when they're in service
Oh,
to let
yeah.
everybody know when God's in the building. I was like, wow,
Yeah,
dude, that
that's-
is crazy. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah,
Really?
That's a bunch of BS.
Come on, man.
I can't
Yeah.
wait to
I
see
couldn't
what you
believe
guys
that.
play next whenever you guys play the coop. I really am looking forward to it. Because the last stuff was so unplanned and mishmashed, it'd be fun to hear it whenever it's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, yeah. We needed to get a good sound
you-
check, and
Did you have like guitar lessons and stuff?
actually, so that's interesting story too. Okay, we're gonna go back to the beginning. So so back to the beginning. All right. So
Marty.
one of my
We gotta
friends
go
in
back.
school yeah, one of my friends in school was taking guitar lessons, and he had a guitar. I didn't have a guitar at the time, and it was just around that time I went to that concert with Paul, and so I wasn't even driving yet. I was still too young, but anyways, he took guitar lessons, and so I would go over to his house. He had a guitar, and he would show me what the guitar teacher showed him.
Right.
And I would
And you were getting your
try to
lesson.
play a little bit.
That's
And
awesome.
so eventually, after nagging my dad enough, he bought me a guitar, and I got this little battery operated amp, and I could just walk around and play
just play.
with. Yeah, and I didn't really take lessons, so I had to like sort of self teach myself.
You'll look
Right.
for
And
batteries.
so I figured out with my buddy friend how to play a song.
There you go.
And I can't remember what song it was, but I knew what the note sounded like.
Right.
So I would put this tape into that song and hit my guitar and tune it to where it would sound right,
Right.
to
Right.
that song. And so that's how I learned how to tune a guitar.
Right. That's
I did it
awesome.
I taught myself that. Like,
I told my son that he had to learn how to do that.
yeah,
Not
that
you.
should be your first thing. You
That's
should
right.
figure out how to tune
I
it
told
up.
him it was not to look at his hands.
Camera
either.
malfunction.
But so over the years, I self-taught. I looked at books and read tablature and all that stuff, but it really didn't take off for me until I started playing with the church,
Or if you
because
got it, whatever.
when at the church they all have sheet music,
That's right.
and so they don't rehearse like what we do. We go and play until we get it right.
Right.
They've
Just
got
read
sheet
it and
music,
go.
so they just go up there and they put the sheet music up and
It's
they
in
play.
the key of C and a 145.
Yeah, you follow that sheet music, and you might be listening to like a click track in your ear or something to keep
Right.
you in time. And so, believe it or not, with the way that I taught myself by ear, listening to things and being able to read their sheet music, it put me like miles ahead of them.
Oh,
Because here's why. When I was playing with my friends at the church, they all had to watch their sheet music all the time. If they looked away from their sheet music, they would mess
done,
up.
huh?
Yeah, they would
Lost.
get lost.
Right.
I didn't have to do any of that. I could be mobile, walk around, I could get eye contact with people. I didn't have to study my music because I did it by ear too.
Right.
And so
That's awesome.
it put me miles ahead of them as far as that went. But I went to some conferences where you could take guitar lessons or vocal lessons or whatever instrument you play with professionals. And so that was kind of neat. I took a couple guitar lessons from Christian guitar players that I would consider
Right.
I would consider to be famous, but you know,
Well, I tell you,
Kinda.
man, you're a really great guitar player. I
Oh,
love
thanks.
watching you play. Like you're like there's showmanship in your guys' blood, man. Like you
Yeah.
can just see it. It's natural, man. And it's funny because like you're saying that it wasn't really like in the blood real heavy that you had to seek it out. That's
Right.
really cool, man.
yeah, and I never would consider myself to be great or even
Oh, you're awesome,
super
dude.
good or anything like that. But I realized early on that you don't have to be a great
Exactly.
musician to make great music.
Right.
You know, a lot of it is
Right.
so a lot of it is in
Passion,
here,
you
so
gotta
it's
love
how
it.
you feel. So it's and you know, so I can be a one-trick pony and still get the job done. It's just I gotta be with a group of people that
I'm gonna be looking
Makes
at
it
the
all
Top
one.
song up now.
great
It is. I loved it that night, man. I was like, man, they gotta do that again. I gotta talk to them and see if that's an original, man. 'Cause I thought it was an
No.
original. I didn't even know you guys were doing
no,
ZZ
we
Top.
are working on a
Well,
a original. So
you said that Paul took you to a show. Did you go to a lot of shows?
What's that?
Did you go to a lot of shows, like big shows?
Me, myself?
Yeah.
Do them?
Like
No,
just go to
concerts.
see them, concerts.
Oh. Yeah, back in the day we
Like
did.
who'd you see? Like who did you like that you saw?
I don't know. I didn't see that
Come
many. I didn't
on.
see that many, but I seen ACDC,
There you go.
I
That's
Motley
a good
I never got to
Crue,
see them. I still haven't seen Crue.
Poison, Dokken,
I always wanted to
Accept,
see them too. Yeah, and Accept another great one, man.
Dio.
Oh,
Who else?
I didn't-
Kiss.
Nice.
You
Which
know,
tour was it for Kiss?
Look it up, I believe.
Look it up. Oh, that'd be a good one too. That was right after they
Oh.
took the makeup
Quit
off.
touching my cock.
Wow. That's right. Everybody's
He keeps
Larry's
touching the cock right
Yeah.
here.
wow,
Don't touch Larry's cock. He's very sensitive.
it's making noise.
I
So-
mean, I did. I
How many-
went and seen a lot of shows, but then I kind of
Right, I was the same way. I went through like a spell, and then it was. I haven't seen anything in years, man.
My wife and I have been going to see lots of. Well, I guess it depends on what your definition of lots of shows are, but we went and seen Cheap Trick couple months ago. We seen Tesla. It took Paul with us. We went to see Tesla.
I went and seen Tesla at the House of Blues. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah.
Their guitar player was out selling the T-shirts.
I believe it. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, well.
Mommy's all right.
Who else did we go see?
Daddy's all right.
Well, we seen the stadium tour. We seen the stadium tour. Oh, and my wife bought tickets to Aerosmith, and but they canceled. So, which I couldn't believe how much the tickets were for that too. So I was actually glad they canceled and we got the money back.
I know, like
it was crazy.
Your brother-in-law Dave has seen a million shows.
Outhouse.
Like, have you seen a lot of like shows like going back?
Oh yeah. I've seen most of my favorite bands. You know.
How was Rat for you?
Rat.
I don't think I ever seen
No,
it.
I seen him. I seen Rat when it wasn't really that long ago though. It was when Poison was going around and doing. They would do. I don't remember what they called their show, but they did a show where they'd always have L.A. Guns with them, and Rat was with them a few times, and I seen them in that show, and they were great. I mean. They were super great.
That is awesome, man. They're still doing it.
It depend. I guess it depends on who's in the band, you know. But
they
had Warren DeMartini when I seen him. I was lucky enough to get to see him. It was kind of cool too because Poison played, L.A. Guns played. There was another band too that played, like Joan Jett or something. And when Rat went up and played. There was like a whole audience of the other guitar players that I could see them on the side of the stage, just like glued to Warren DeMartini, watching him play. Like you could tell that they admired that guy a lot, you know.
He had like style, you know. He had style about his playing. I don't know. There was something about that guy you just wanted to see him play.
Yeah, he was definitely one of the great ones.
I always called it like the violinist touch. Certain guys just had that way of doing it that just looks right.
Yeah.
You know, not only does it sound right, but it looks right too. And you can almost see him hitting each note. That's how he was. I liked Dancing Undercover. I think wasn't that the name of the album?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Dancing Undercover. Seventh Avenue. I really like that
Some
song.
good tunes on that one.
I've seen a lot of bands though, AC/DC, Kiss, and.
Now, did you see the same tour as him? Look it up.
I didn't. I seen. When they first put their makeup back on.
96?
Well, I don't remember the year exactly, but it was what they...
No, it was after.
It didn't seem like it was that long ago, but I'm pretty old, so time flies, you know.
I know, you're right.
You know, but it was good, except they played like all of like older stuff, like Cold Gin and stuff, which is cool, but I didn't really know any of it, so that part was a little bit of a bummer. I didn't know a lot of it.
Paul Stanley, Creatures of the Night, dude. I'd love to hear you guys
remember
do that
hearing that
one.
song.
Creatures of the Night is, I love that album.
Saliva.
Eric Carr joined the band then.
Remember the band Saliva? Saliva opened up for Kiss on that show. I thought, what a strange...
Wow.
What a strange mix, you know.
Right.
And Saliva was like real heavy. So, well, I would consider heavy. Compared to Kiss, they were extremely heavy. And I thought, what a strange mix. But I enjoyed it still yet.
I seen them up in Cleveland, and it was amazing. It was like, I don't know. I told my buddy afterwards, it was like a wax museum come to life in a way. But at the same time, I already seen that show a million times listening to Kiss Alive 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
But it was cool because Paul Stanley still had it. Like, he went over to the edge of the stage and shook his ass, and it was just like Victoria's Secret exploded on him.
Oh.
Like, I never seen anything like it. And I was like, man, I still want to do this shit. It just looked like so much fun when they were up there, you know? I was like Gene. He was always my favorite, you know? He was the big comic book kind of character, you know? And And I had those comic books too, but I was just a mad fan for them anyway. I mean, I loved
Yeah, I
them.
think everybody was.
I loved Double Platinum. I loved.
There's
the
more
first
Kiss
5
tribute bands
albums.
out there than probably any. To be honest.
ACDC tribute.
Yeah,
And,
there's a lot of
yeah.
AC/DC
Yeah,
tribute.
that's a
Faux
fact,
show.
too.
Kiss and ACDC.
Yeah, I didn't even realize there was that many AC/DC tribute bands until I started looking at videos and stuff. Like, dang, everybody and their brother's done that one, I guess.
That's the house every time.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a decent one, they know what they're getting. You know what I mean?
Well, I think a lot of
Thunderstruck used
the
to
probably
kill.
a lot of the reason that is a fact is because those guys were like regular guys, you know,
Right.
and so it's a doable venture for you. You know,
We got 13 songs, mate.
They had a lot of hits.
yeah, oh yeah,
Most of them.
they had everything they did was a hit practically.
Mhm.
They weren't filler songs. People liked.
No, those guys are legends,
Wow.
man. They're true legends. But I mean, what I mean by that is they were like regular guys. They weren't like Jakey Lee or something like that. You know, it's something that's super impossible to duplicate. Yeah, they were just rockers, straight up.
You guys mentioned Great White earlier. Somebody did, and that is another great rocking band, man. When I got into them, did you ever see Great White?
I've never seen Great White.
No.
No.
You did?
No.
That's awesome, man. That's really
Never
awesome.
seen them.
My dad really liked them too. It was fun. I'd come home and he'd be jamming the same stuff I was jamming sometimes, and that was one of those bands. Lita Ford was another
I
one.
don't think I went to see them. I think they were probably opening for somebody else. But
That Lita Ozzy song, I remember was real big. Close My Eyes Forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
That was a huge one, man.
Shut up.
And that was not a bad album for her all around. There were a couple good songs on there. Kiss Me Deadly was like the big one I remember first. And
Yeah.
That was the.
I only remember hearing those two. I don't remember ever hearing anything else from her.
Joan Jett was good too, but I always liked Lita better. I don't know.
I just seen Joan Jett last summer.
I Love
at-
Rock
at
and
the-
Roll was good, and she did Black and Blue was Van Halen, and something else came out by her that year, and Little Liar. I like Little Liar. It was a B side, I think.
that's Van Halen.
That was a good one too.
Never seen them either.
Van Halen.
Yeah.
Me either. I would
Good.
want to see them
Yeah, I'll
too.
bet it was.
Yeah, and Eddie Van Halen was something else.
Mm-hmm.
Like 1984, that album was just so
I seen a
big,
man work for him.
I loved it. You had that, you had Thriller by Michael Jackson, and you had Bruce Springsteen, The Born in the USA. Those
I used
three
to hate
albums
Bruce.
were dominating that
I
kind
used
of.
to
I'm
hate
still not a real big
Bruce.
fan of that.
Yeah, I don't
Man,
like
I-
Bruce. I don't know how they
The USA,
consider him the
that's the one I
boss. The
hated.
boss of what?
Always on the radio,
Yeah.
like, oh my
The
God,
boss of
not
owning a
again.
bunch of guitars.
Yeah.
About it.
He had a few songs that were all right. He did one called Sherry Darling, which I really liked.
Didn't he
It's
have
kind
one
of a
called
throwback.
Born in the USA?
And you had that Philadelphia one he did for that movie. I really liked because I remember I recommended that to my dad.
And it's on YouTube.
And my dad flipped out.
Yeah.
You know, he loved it. He was like, "Man, I'm gonna get that record," and then he did. He went out and bought it. Because there were a few other good songs on there too. The Indigo Girls and I forget who else. There was a bunch of good songs on there actually.
Well, he had a lot of hits. You know, you can't
But,
take that away
you're
from
right,
him.
and
But
that too. But I only like those
I
two
never-
songs really by him.
I never really got into any of his stuff. To tell you the truth.
And I know Born to Run was a good
Sometimes
one.
I watch Julu.
Julu.
But he did that.
Julu.
I forget what it was.
You guys ever see a UFO?
Nope.
Never. Why ain't you looking up? The fuck?
I've seen a lot of stuff I can't explain. But I don't know that it was a UFO.
I don't-
I've seen some stuff that I don't know what the
Man,
heck
I've
it is.
seen all kinds of them, bro. Daylight, nighttime, with witnesses, without witnesses, all different shapes and sizes.
I've seen some strange
Since
things
I was a
way
little
there,
kid
too.
up until, well, me and Larry was watching a bunch of them last summer, man. These white balls, I don't know if you guys have ever witnessed one of these. They'll come across the sky and it's a glowing white light, solid white light. And it just comes and it almost looks like an airplane, but not quite. And then all of a sudden it'll just be like zoop and just disappear. Like it'll just take off and like it hits I don't know.
That's what I've seen.
And Larry's
They
pointed
move
it
real
out to a
fast.
bunch of people. Like he'd be down at his other people's house, like, look, watch, it's gonna disappear, and it'll go across the sky and then boom, disappear.
It
I
depends
told you.
on where you're at.
He's the one that notices them all the time.
If there's a lot of light
Them
pollution,
ones.
you won't be able to see it. But if you're out there, you know, in the woods a little bit, you have a better view of the sky. There's no light pollution.
At nighttime, man, if you go out there when there ain't nothing, like you said, where there ain't no light pollution, dude, you stare for a little while, you're gonna see some shit. I promise you.
Yeah,
You just gotta look. You can't find arrowheads if you ain't got your face on the ground when you're walking.
Yeah, you can't
I mean,
find
if
it
you
if
ain't
you ain't
looking
looking.
right. If you don't have your face up in the air looking for the
People
shit,
don't
you
look
ain't
up
gonna find
anymore.
it.
They're looking at their phones.
Yeah, their phones.
Everyone's looking at their
Just get off the phone.
Speaking of, their dad's farm, man, that was a spot.
That-
Arrowhead, I thought.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Larry's back there trying to. You gotta get on the microphone, man. Arrowhead's back in the Mozzochi farm
Yeah.
that was a
down
nice
there in
place.
Minerva.
Well,
It's got all them rivers down there. That's why.
That was a nice place.
No
nice,
UFOs, huh? That's crazy.
it's nice going down to Amnesia Lane with you guys, man. We want to thank the Mozzochi brothers for coming in tonight.
Yeah,
For
thanks
sure.
for having
You
us.
guys
Really?
next gig.
Awesome.
Oh, our next gig is
promote.
is it May? Is it May 8th or 3rd? I think.
May 23rd.
No.
Some-
I
hang
can't
on.
wait to see
I
you
have
guys
it.
in here again. You guys,
We actually just picked up 2 more.
you guys really blew me away.
May 18th.
May 18th. Where at?
Yeah,
Shady
that's
Rest.
right.
Shady Rest. May 18th.
Yep. Shady Rest, May 18th. That's right.
No, it was fun watching you guys play.
That's
here
down
that
by
night.
Beach City, right?
It's in Beach City,
I'm looking forward to seeing
down
On
south.
August 3rd.
August 3rd.
August
We just
3rd.
picked up 2 shows at Vaughn's. One July 7th and September 1st, my birthday.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That's got to be a fun show.
Oh,
Hopefully
right,
there's
and-
gonna be some more, but we're trying to land some things a little bit north, like
Right.
Akron.
You got to get in the big cities if you want to make some noise.
Yeah, well, we've only played to the south,
Right.
and so we want to move. We don't want to be in just one area. Anyways, we're gonna
Certainly.
try to expand, you know. But
We had a lot of fun whenever we played in Cleveland, man.
Yeah.
Every time we went to Cleveland, we had fun.
yeah, and it seems like there's a bigger scene there too.
Oh, yeah.
So
I
there's
mean,
more places.
and you'd have nights where, like you said, there wouldn't be hardly anybody there, but then you'd have nights where it was like, wow.
Yeah.
That was rock and roll.
Well, just having more of a selection of places to go to.
Oh, yeah.
Makes
Yeah,
a
well, the
difference
music
too.
scene ain't the same
I know, you're
it's
right
back
about
then.
that.
But one thing I seen on Facebook, Ramones nightclub
It's coming back.
are coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I've
what you
seen
guys were
that
just
too.
saying. Right.
That's going to
Ramones
be cool.
nightclub. They got a new owner and they got the same goals as what originally it was. So they're gonna be.
What's it called?
It's gonna be a place
Ramones.
Well, I don't think they're going to rename it Ramones, are they?
I don't know. I hope so. I hope they do.
That'd be cool, but yeah, because it was the Vortex or something, or
Voodoo.
Voodoo or something.
to go. It might be gonna be renamed to Ramones. I know
That'd
that.
be all right.
That's,
I hope it does.
Where was that at?
it's an Akron
Is-
on Cleveland Avenue.
91.
Yeah, Talmadge.
all the way up.
91, yeah.
Yep.
all the
Right
way
when
up.
you cross 76 on, Cleveland Avenue's 91.
Mm-hmm. He's,
Right when you go under the bridges or whatever and up the hill on the right hand side.
yeah, right
Over the
before you get
river
to
and through the
Talmadge.
woods.
Had 2 bars in there, and
It was actually a tiny little
I
place.
mean, back in the day, there
but-
was so many
There were.
good bands that.
Oh yeah, I've seen some great bands in that place, and we played there once. We opened up for 1988 right there.
Was it 1988?
Yep, that's
I
who
always
it
wanted
was.
to play the Carriage House.
Yep.
I
never
love
got to play
that
the
place.
Carriage
I love
House.
that
I always
place.
wanted to.
That was a long.
That was one of my
time
favorite
Did you
ago.
guys
places
play the
to
Carriage House?
Never played
No?
there.
I was
No, I
wanting to.
would have liked to, but
place
They
was
tore the
cool.
place down.
Yeah, right. It was so cool when you were upstairs looking down at the stage, you know. I was like,
Man.
man, what a cool view. I want to play here.
Well,
man.
one
Why
night-
haven't we played here.
So I was there one night watching a band, or was we playing there? Oh, we was playing there, and their bathrooms, if you know anything about the
We're
Carriage,
absolutely disgusting.
disgusting,
the worst,
bro.
The worst. I can
And
smell it when you say it.
we got done playing,
that
and we
good?
was hanging out, and all of a sudden I had to take a shit.
Oh no. In the
Oh
urinal?
yeah. Oh no. Well, you know them bushes that's beside the place.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, I had to. I went and
defiled
grabbed
the
me
bush.
Some, yeah, it was kind of like the neighbor's yard, but
Which is the Carriage House.
it was a lot cleaner than their
It's a perfect
bathroom.
ending for the Outhouse.
Wow,
This is
that's
the
prob-
I
Outhouse.
remember it
That's
being
probably
perfect
why they
ending
had
for
to
the
get
Outhouse
tore
podcast.
I don't
down.
remember it being that bad, but
Oh, they was disgusting.
Oh,
Which one,
upstairs was
machine?
pretty brutal.
No,
Carriage
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 house.
House.
Oh, the machine. I remember
Machine
that.
was
Oh, the machine was
you
even
should know
worse.
that because
Oh,
you used
man.
to
Yeah,
run
yeah,
sound.
they were bad too.
You did?
Yeah, he ran sound. You know?
Really?
You ran sound at Carriage House.
No, you said
Oh,
machine.
not,
No,
no, not a carriage house.
Oh, you did.
no, that
Played
was
there a lot.
Lindstrom did there for a while because we got
And,
kicked out because
Jesse
his
Owens?
ass. Yeah, he didn't run sound. He just worked out there.
And,
He was like the bouncer bar
Somebody
back
else.
dude.
can't think of it. But anyway, there's a place called Casey's Nashville Nights or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Real
yeah.
in Maine. They,
Like,
Yeah,
nobody
I
can
want to
see
get
us.
in
You
there
guys-
too.
You
I
should
was
sit
try-
on Patrick's lap and talk into the microphone.
I really want to play there really
Voice
bad.
of
That's
reason.
one of the
He's
places
there.
I
But
want to
the
go.
mic should
My
be
bass
It,
picking
it
it
is
up.
picking him up, but
for
Not like
gas, he
us.
plays
I
it
can
all the
see
time
it.
with his other band. So
Really?
you guys should look up and he
Yes.
you could probably turn down to that one.
I've emailed them several times and nobody ever gets back with me.
All right, I'll
But
get you a number.
yeah, okay, great. That would be great.
It's all in who you know.
What's
Who
the
you
other
blow?
one there? I wonder if old Chuck's Steakhouse is still doing it.
I think
Nah.
they're there. But I don't know if they're still under that
The
name
places,
or
the
whatever.
places that I would
Oh my
like to
God.
play at
I
up
didn't
that
know that.
direction
I'm
is
sorry.
I wanted to go
Casey's,
there. I had to dip,
the
but I couldn't-
Nashville
I couldn't do
Nights.
it.
Um,
I'll be right back.
what's that place that's on the
I'll let
lake over
Larry
there?
know.
Portage
He
Lakes.
wants to snap on the time.
Hey, grab a seat.
Hey, grab a seat, Larry. I'm gonna jump up.
Oh, what the heck is that?
You
Upper
want to
deck.
go-
The upper deck.
deck.
I want to play the upper deck
I had to dip out earlier. I couldn't
and
do it.
Fire and Ice
All this coffee.
in Akron. It's just a little dive bar, but I really want to play there because I think we would do real well in Akron. So
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think you guys do real well anyway, just because of what you're doing.
yeah, there's
Everybody
I mean,
likes that shit, you know.
yeah,
I mean?
it's good. It
and you guys
brings
do
a
it
crowd.
good, so
Thank you.
it's definitely
We're
it's a
definitely
show
gonna-
to see.
We're definitely gonna be doing a lot of stuff, more stuff than I've ever done this summer.
Well, you guys got
Yeah.
like 3 sets of what, 10 or 12 songs? Or something
We
like that?
actually have more now. We actually have too many now. We have been trimming some off.
Yeah.
That's why we've been getting rid of Motley Crue songs. Like they're going out of style. But
Because them guys.
well, we got too many. We've got a 35. We have 35 songs, but we only need 30 songs for a show. So
Right.
5 of them get dropped. You know. So
Yeah, because
Right across from the upper deck, there's another one
Across
called
from
the
the- we
Blue
should set-
Iguana. We used to play there. It wasn't called that though.
huh? Is it still
he
there?
won't come and sit in
Yeah.
front of the
But
microphone.
anyway, you go.
He's not. Here he
I'm gonna
comes.
sit- I'm gonna sit in his lap. So
But you could sit there
you end
because
up
Ed's not.
Let me sit there.
you end up playing right
Everybody's
here to the
dipping out.
water.
What the
and all these boats pull up right there,
Yeah.
and you end up
At
jamming
2 hours
songs
and
right
coffee
down
and
on the
booze, boy.
water.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah,
That
that's
is
a good
cool.
place.
Yeah, I would like to play
Right.
a little more north, so get out of the Canton, not Canton area, but south of Canton. So I know there's a lot bigger crowds to the north. You know,
We done lost half the show, man, due to bathroom.
everybody's gone.
They couldn't take it no more.
It's
We're almost there now anyway. We got about almost 10 minutes, a little bit more than 10 minutes, and we're gone anyway.
Right on.
So I don't know.
Well, I have to tell you the my Gibson Gold Top story.
Oh,
Then,
yes, the Gibson. We forgot.
yeah. So I have this Gibson Gold Top guitar that I've coveted my entire life since I was a kid. Always wanted a
Hey.
Gibson Gold Top.
We're almost done anyway.
So, but the way that I ended up getting it was I was playing on a stage and somebody's microphone tipped over and fell down and hit my tuner. I had this Snark LED tuner in my pedal box. Their microphone fell straight down on it and cracked the screen so you couldn't see it.
Man.
So, but okay, no problem. Next,
Loaded.
I just go up to Guitar Center to get a new tuner. And then while I was there shopping for the tuner, I seen this guitar up on the wall that's the don't touch section. And there's this gold top up there. And I said,
I must touch.
I took a
must
picture
touch.
of it. And so here, the funny part is, ever since I was a kid, I would always say, that's my guitar. I'm going to get a gold top. But I took a picture of it and I sent it to my wife and I said, look, they got my guitar here. And she said, well, if you want it, go ahead and buy it. We have the money.
Oh, he was like,
So,
mine.
yeah. So I'm taking this. I took my phone and I'm going around and showing people. Look what
It's
she
for
said.
real.
Look what she
She
said.
really
I can
said
buy
it.
it. She said I can buy it.
Everybody's
so,
yay!
yeah, it's a funny story, but that's how I got the guitar. I mean,
Well, damn. Paulie's over there. What are you doing, man?
I snuck out.
These guys are killing me over here.
well, I guess it's
know,
time to
yeah.
wrap it up
I
then.
guess. I figured we need.
Uh,
We was almost done, but then everybody was like, "Oh, I gotta pee. I gotta smoke. I gotta. Yeah. Well, it was a damn good show. Thanks everybody for tuning in. That did tune in for sure. Gary, I don't know if Chuck was in there tonight or not.
I just seen Chuck.
I ain't seen
Ricky
and Gary
was
was in the chat. But
well, thanks for having us.
yeah, it
Appreciate
was
it.
a great show, man. Can't wait to get you guys in here on Chicken Coop Live. And then again, if anybody else wants to be a part of the podcast or Chicken Coop Live with a band, get at me on Facebook there, and we'll figure it out and get you on here. Fun. Don't forget, we got Starlight, the Motown band, coming in Saturday night, this Saturday at 8 p.m. to do a live stream.
When you gonna have these guys live?
Whenever they get their drummer.
Oh, you should.
Yeah, they got a classic drive will be coming in when they get their drummer all squared away. He's got to learn a couple more tunes. Oh, yeah, really, you guys probably got enough to do an hour, because we usually do an hour for the music thing. And then we got Ellis and Company coming in Sunday, which will be at 4:30. We're going to go on because they can't go on. We usually like to do them at 8, but they got other things going on. So we're going to do that. And then we got Dave coming in next. Dave that I work with at Gattuso's. He's hilarious. He'll be here next Wednesday. And then Mike Tice and Steve Whitmer the following Wednesday. We'll be talking about Pantera and hanging out with them guys. And they was in Cowboys from Hell, the Pantera tribute band. We'll be talking about that when we get back to that show. Nice of
that'll
you to
be
make
cool.
it back now that it's over.
I'm
that
sorry.
we're
I
over.
only have one kidney,
Got
so whenever
bodies
it's
missing
an
and
impending
shit.
need, I gotta run, man. And I was running, man.
I was having a
I
rough
was like
time.
a camel there, man. It took like 90 seconds,
To get you one of them.
And we'll never, ever tell you to like
Ever.
and subscribe and hit that stupid
Share.
bell. Not the red
Uh,
one. Don't hit the red one. Whatever you do.
Nicotine.
And the views expressed
expressed
on this show by us,
Little
our
pack.
guests, everybody, or probably not
Oh.
yours. I don't know what to say
Vape.
about that.
Yeah, you need a vape.
It was fun talking with you guys, man.
Well, yeah.
It really was.
It
That's what we was just saying.
It's
It was
cool
a
to
great
get
show.
a different view of the same kind of stuff because we were
Right.
all tied in at the same times, you know, just from different places.
So I said it was a damn good show.
And the hat is
It's
cool.
always a different show.
Where
You
do
are.
I get a
Look at
hat
you
like
perfect.
that?
I've had this thing for years, man. I think.
Don't part with it
boys'
because
mom.
it's too cool.
Oh, I'll never get rid of it. It's awesome. I have it hanging in the fish tank. Well, not hanging, but sitting on top of the router in there usually.
It's cold. We're about to
I was gonna bust it out for something. I knew it, and I guess this
It's
was
like
it.
the Mad Alien Hatter hat.
I was almost gonna bring it to a gig or you guys one night
Oh
for
yeah,
you to check out.
do please.
Oh, I will next time. man.
I
I'll
will
let-
certainly sport it.
Absolutely.
Mad Tom and Fast Eddie.
Yeah.
Fast Eddie. Fast.
Once
Eddie.
again, thanks everybody for tuning in.
Peace.
And guys, want
Alex,
to call
thank
it?
you. You crushed it tonight.
Oh yeah,
I could hear you the whole time.
Alexander
yeah.
the Great back there on
I
the
mean,
guitar,
That was awesome. And Larry,
doing our
you know,
background.
you really played the voice
Larry
of
did
God.
an
You
excellent
really
job
to the
at
hilt
camera
tonight.
switching until we lost camera 3, giving us the other
Got
views.
tired.
Never
Never
It
gets
was
tired.
never stopped.
Good stuff, fellers.
I
Good
can't wait to
stuff.
see you guys on the chicken coop.
Yep.
Looking forward to it, man. It's gonna be a good time.
All right,
All right,
everybody.
sweet.
We're out of here.
Next
Thanks.
Wednesday. Ciao.
See you